So, it's been a little less than a year since my last video on Philip, and let me just say, it has definitely been an eventful couple of months when it comes to him. It probably didn't help that most of what he did happened while I was processing the last video either. So, because of that, I'm doing a sequel. If you couldn't already tell by the title. But not only am I going to cover the stuff that I missed, I'm also going to kind of revisit older points from my first video and add on to what I have said before. So basically, to recap, DSP, also known as Phil Burnell, is a lying, manipulative, egotistical, annoying old streamer who constantly begs for money in his streams, makes excuses for why things don't go in his way in... well, I was just gonna say video games, but he does it for real life stuff too. And all around, just a leech on society. Hell, the only thing he's really got going for him is that he isn't Wings of Redemption. But trust me, just because he isn't the only bad sandwich in the shop, there's still a problem with DSP too. You get it? Because like, 2 and 2 sound the same but are spelt different and mean different things, so it gives the line like a double meaning. Because, like, you know, 2 means, like, a sequel, and 2 means, like... you know what? Never mind. Let's just continue on. So, how much did I miss exactly? Well, a lot. His friendship with Kino Casino ending after they revealed that they were not actually his friends. His top money whale, Iron Chef Sakai, leaving him to donate to another streamer. Him becoming infamous and well known again because of memes calling him a game journalist. And, you know, a bunch of other stuff from before those things. But for now, I just want to talk about the smaller and shorter filler episodes. See what I did there? And bring those to light. So, let's move on to... not in any specific order, by the way. Something I saw in the comments of the last video, but didn't want to get too deep into it, was the allegations that he groomed Pandalee, his first girlfriend. Of course, I asked the commenter for some kind of source, because as shitty as Phil may be, calling him a pedo just because of allegations is unfair to do. Now, of course, the evidence may actually be out there, like Disco said. However, because of how hard it is to find due to it being buried in the algorithm, I really can't in good faith just immediately say that he did groom Pandalee. Although, it's definitely pretty weird that he started dating her right after she turned 18, while he was almost 30. What I do know, however, is that he actually defended the movie Cuties, which, if you know what that is, you'll know defending it is not a very smart move. And for some reason, he decided to try and defend the movie, even though he had not even seen the trailer for it.
No, I did not watch the trailer for this Netflix show called Cuties, but now it's all been blown up. So here's the thing. There's a movie called Cuties. It's a French film about a bunch of 11-year-old girls who join a dance competition. One of the girls is in a very religious Muslim family that's very conservative, and they feel that this girl being in this dance competition, that she's sexualizing herself, which obviously a young girl shouldn't do. And the whole plot of the movie is this girl, it's a coming-of-age film, the girl finding herself in her own identity as a dancer, while fighting the conservative things of her family, but also trying to prevent herself from being over-sexualized, which is another pitfall of going into the entertainment industry.
Thankfully for him, he actually did something smart, for once, and backpedaled on his opinion. After trying to quote-unquote cancel memology and saying that everyone saying the movie is disgusting are wrong and stupid.
So this guy made a video yesterday about me, saying that I am defending the disgusting Netflix movie, Cuties. And he goes on to say that this movie on Netflix is basically glamorizing pedophilia and sexually giving sexuality to young girls. Okay? That's what he's saying. And he's saying that I defended this movie, and therefore I must be for the sexualizing of underage girls and pedophilia. That's literally what he's insinuating in this video. Are you a fucking... talk about a lying, dishonest piece of fucking shit. This guy is the absolute bottom of the barrel when it comes to content creation. He is the worst, lowest form of content creator. Should not be allowed on YouTube. Should not be allowed on the fucking internet. The people who watch that content are the lowest common denominator of people. They don't care if what they're watching is true or not. They're watching to create drama. The problem is when you get a group of idiots like that who now go on the internet and start spreading it around as fucking fact. It's not. okay? It's dangerous to allow this kind of content creator to exist.
Also, by the way, I did actually search the internet for these allegations and evidence that he did groom Panda Lee, but most of what I found were either clips of Phil calling his detractors groomers.
But yeah, these people don't care. They break the law because they benefit from it. Let's make no bones about it here. The reason that these people do it is because they make money and they get popularity off of it. Okay, that's why. And they don't care that they are literally grooming. I'm going to repeat myself. They are grooming an entire group of antisocial sociopaths on the internet who think it's okay to harm others that they don't like or are programmed or brainwashed to not like by this kind of content creation.
Or a hair grooming product also named DSP. Unfortunate naming. Although if you do want to hear about a predator in relation to Phil, let's take a look at one of his ex-chatters and fans, Derek. And yes, I know that's not how you pronounce his name. I refuse to pronounce his name correctly. You'll see why in a sec. Derek, also known as Derek Ip, was a very disgusting predator that frequently chatted in DSP's chats, but didn't actually donate to him. Which is weird that Phil kept him around as long as he did, even though Derek was literally spamming his chat with messages. Usually you have to give Phil money to do that without getting in some kind of trouble, especially with how often and how personal the questions were.
Hey DSP, I'll probably be busy on Halloween because I'm probably trick-or-treating with my friends. I hope you have a great Halloween marathon and enjoy the tier maker I made. What bread do you like, DSPgaming? At DSPgaming, happy Sunday, Phil. My A key on my laptop is not working. I just cleaned it right now. At DSPgaming, I have a MacBook Pro computer. I'm doing a software update right now. At DSP Reacts, losing a body part is tough, right? Must be tough to game with one arm for this guy. At DSP Reacts, do you remember your school lunch in the 1980s and 1990s? Can you tell us your experience? At DSPgaming, what were some of your favorite Burger King toys as a kid that you remember? At DSPgaming, 27 years ago, this game came out. Crazy, right? You were 14, and now you're 41. At DSPgaming, 27 years ago, this game came out. You were 14.
Anyways, to sum up what the problem with Derek was, well, just plain disgusting. Constantly spamming corn stars on Twitter and saying weird and gross stuff to them that I'm not even gonna put on screen because of how weird and gross they are. Y'all can look that up on your own time if you want, but I'm not subjecting myself to these tweets any more than I already have. Just know that I was basically making this face while hearing about them. He also has multiple playlists on YouTube of little girls playing and... Okay, yeah, no, I can't talk about this anymore. I'm sorry, but at this point in looking up stuff about Derek and writing the script, I physically cannot look up anything else about Derek himself, so I'm just gonna refer you guys to this video by Switch209 Gaming, because I am genuinely about to fucking vomit. I'll go ahead and thankfully end the Derek talk, sort of, with why Darkside Phil finally decided to ban him from his chat. Was it because he had enough of the spam? Did he find out about Derek's interest? Was Derek secretly a detractor who was only pretending to be a disgusting human being? I really wish it was that one. No, the actual reason he finally banned Derek is because Kino Casino told him to. And there's no friends, more on that later. Yep, just like every other aspect of his life, someone else has to tell him to do something for him to finally realize he should do it. But why was Phil so reluctant to let go of Derek's spamming?
The only reason that we even know anything about this person is because my detractors went to all of his personal socials and dug into them deep. They
But they got him.
They
It's
dug
right,
into
they got
them
him,
deep.
though.
Okay, now hold on.
he's a
I know.
pedophile,
Listen,
so-
listen.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing what you guys are saying, but please let me finish what I'm saying.
For sure,
because it
for
is-
sure, for sure.
All right. If the only reason that I know that this guy did something bad is because people went off of the realm of my streams and my content to find it, I'm sorry, but that's not my responsibility to be dealing with.
What?
You understand? Because here's the thing. Now, please listen. If I ban Derek right now,
I called Derek because that's what I thought his name was. I guess it actually is Darish or whatever, but
if I ban Derek right now, here's what will happen. Because here's what Josh just said about Kiwi Farms. If he deletes my thread on Kiwi Farms right now, the detractors go somewhere else to do something worse, correct? If I ban Derek right now, the detractors won because they say, look what we did.
Fucking huh? So he didn't ban Derek because he was a creep, which would have been the most reasonable reason to do so. He didn't ban Derek because he was spamming his chat with random and personal questions, which would still also be a very valid reason to do so. Nope. He didn't want to ban a disgusting, creepy, and just outright deplorable fan of his, just because it'd be another win for the detractors. Honestly, when I first heard about it, I didn't even believe it, and I just assumed it was like a joke the detractors made, or maybe even just a theory that they made about why he held off on swinging that ban hammer for so long. But when I heard him actually tell Kino Casino that he didn't want to because the detractors would win, I just had to pause and stare at my screen for a few minutes. Here, I even made a small recreation about how I felt while watching it.
The detractors won because they say, look what we did. We researched a guy who no one would have known he had anything wrong with him by just watching Phil's streams. For the record, Derek has never once talked about any of this malicious activity on my stream. He knows better than that. He doesn't bring that shit. That's his personal life or whatever, right? So he doesn't...
I just could not believe that Phil genuinely thinks that letting a predator staying in his chat is a win. Newsflash, Phil, you put yourself in a lose-lose situation. You lose by keeping him in your chat, and you lose if you ban him, according to your own words. Anyways, I do think I should go ahead and just move on from this, because we do still have a couple of more smaller topics to serve as appetizers before we get on to frying the bigger fish. So remember back in the last video when I talked about how Phil got mad that somebody who said that they would give him $200 to do 25 push-ups didn't do so because Phil did them off camera? Well, as it turned out, he lied about it. I know, shocking.
Someone challenged me to do push-ups, and I jumped off camera and claimed that I did them. Now, obviously, I didn't. Obviously, I was fucking around, right?
Also, I love how he tried to retcon it so he was just fucking around, despite banning multiple people, including the one who said he'd pay the 200 bucks. I actually found out about this part while processing the first video, and I was a little upset when I found out that he actually admitted to lying about it. I mean, we all knew he was lying, no secret there. Between the fact that he wasn't winded at all, and that it only took him 25 seconds to do so, just screamed, I absolutely just stood off to the side and counted to 25. He didn't even sound like he was facing the floor when doing so. A YouTuber by the name of Broside Phil had even made a video proving that Phil would not be able to do the 25 push-ups in 25 seconds, and BSP actually does do a lot of exercise. Like, look how jacked he is.
I'm showing this because I'm going to try and do 25 push-ups in the 25.76 seconds that Phil did, except, you know, record it and put this to bed once and for all. Why show the pictures? Well, if I fail, old Noodle Arms has no chance of having completed it.
If that guy right there can't do 25 push-ups in 25 seconds, then Phil absolutely cannot do it either. This whole situation is just a major highlight and point about how truly narcissistic and full of himself Phil is. Even though no one was buying that he actually did 25 real push-ups, his ego would not let him admit it. Also, just a quick shout out to Just Another Parasite for the compliment on the comments of the last video. You're awesome, and thank you very much. And also a big shout out to Trodat, who said I could and should do more than 10 push-ups. Originally, I was actually going to attempt the 25 push-ups, but during a practice run, the way my hands were pressing into the bed was actually making my wrists hurt. And also, I was just lazy, which is why I just did the 10 for the camera instead. Plus, as you mentioned, the point wasn't entirely about the push-ups themselves, it was more just to show that he could have very easily moved the camera, which is why I wasn't super worried about cleaning my floor to make the push-ups easier to do. I'm sure y'all are aware of Phil's blunder in Black Mesa, where he faced the hardest puzzle in the game and only came out on top because of a bugged mechanic. Yes, I'm talking about the pit incident he had in that game. Fun fact about that I learned from a comment on the last video, Phil is actually the reason why crouch jumping is enabled by default in that game. Not only that, but there is some pretty reasonable speculation that Phil is also to blame for the yellow paint epidemic in modern games. Yeah, you know, how the devs spill yellow paint all over the place nowadays to show that this is where you're supposed to climb, or that this is where you're supposed to go. Yeah, Phil is most likely to blame for all of that. He is genuinely so bad that the game devs now basically have to put massive hints to what you're supposed to do. And even then, Phil will still probably ignore it. My evidence for this? Well, look no further than the last video when I reacted to one of his streams and was getting annoyed about him just completely ignoring his high alert going off. Or honestly, just anytime he plays Black Ops 6 and ignores it, you don't even have to look at one of my videos. He quite literally has yellow paint flashing on his screen telling him somebody is aiming at him from out of sight, but his tiny alcohol-ridden brain just blocks that info out. Also, his God of War footage was used by a game developers conference in order to showcase how they use the environment to encourage the players to explore and interact with it. They definitely should have used a better example than Phil, though.
Experimentation.
We're back.
New levels of depravity.
Look where we are, we're back.
Okay, so in this example, the player is exploring the hub. They've been correctly taught the shock arrow mechanic. And thanks to the design work done by Kai Zheng, they've also been told that shock arrows mean interesting themes and that there's a lot of different variety and a lot of different gameplay, right? So we've made a convincing promise to the player.
Look where we are, we're back.
Boom, and there it is. He saw a shock crystal, right? He has been taught correctly. He has been promised interesting gameplay. And because he is returning to the hub, he is thinking, oh, I feel like doing one of those. I know how those work. I'm in the mood for one of those. Or he can just explore it on his own. That is the benefit. The result is that we do have a compass system and we do have a map, right? But our hope is that players will be self-motivated and that self-discovery will drive their exploration instead.
And of course, after hearing about that, Phil did what he did best.
They did? Apparently people are saying at the game developers conference they used my footage of playing God of War and they blocked my face out. That's illegal.
Honestly, at this point, I can't tell if he's trying to gaslight his viewers into believing that it is illegal, or that he genuinely thinks that it is. I've noticed he tries to be a lawyer a lot. Speaking of Phil being bad at games, let's talk about something I love seeing a sudden rise in. Memes of Phil getting called a game journalist.
I'm not, wait! I wasn't in first! How am I supposed to come back now? The game blatantly cheated.
There we go. I knew that was gonna happen.
I knew it! He got me. I'm gonna die. Yup. There was nothing I could do. He caught me in his stupid poison.
Nothing I could do.
Damn, that sucked. I have no heals.
Welcome to the stand.
Look, I'm not even standing near... What? There was no creeper. He had already died. I died to nothing. What the? See? Invisible creeper almost tried to get me again. There's no creeper there. Is it just... What? It happened again. I had literally just cleared the area. And then they spawned a bunch of zombies and skeletons where I was. And they insta-killed me.
I am so glad that I'm not the only one who thinks he plays like IGN pays him to do so, and a lot of these are genuinely pretty funny. Phil, however, doesn't really find them as funny as most people do, though.
Someone took the one clip of me playing Doom last night where I went into a room and the room is actually set up to be a booby trap. The room is full of explosive barrels. So if you charge in head first and you try to fight like you're supposed to normally, normally you're blowing everything apart, punching, kicking, ripping, and keeping the momentum. If you do that in the room, the barrels blow up and you die. So I went into the room and a barrel blew up and I went from full health and armor down to like 5 health. So then I had to run cowering into a corner, hiding behind cover, peeking out and sniping the enemies so I didn't hit any of the barrels. It's a literal booby trap. Someone clips that and puts it on the internet and acts like I'm bad at Doom. Oh, look how DSP plays Doom. And then some other creator, a dunce who doesn't know the context because, you know, this is what dunces do on social media, reposts it and goes, oh, if you just play Doom like this, uninstall the game. It gets 2.2 million views. Fuck you. No, the viral tweet won't bring new fans, Paper Mario fan, because it's negative and it's false. It's a misrepresentation. It's what everyone has always done to me over the years. They completely take out of context and misrepresent because the meme gets them attention, even though they're lying through their fucking teeth about it. No, you're not funny. I don't get free advertisement for the channel because, of course, they don't link it. They don't say, oh, this is DSPgaming and you can find his channel here. It's just a clip. It's just an out-of-context clip that was actually ripped out of my stream. It wasn't even ripped from the videos I uploaded last night. It was ripped out of my stream. Before I was even done streaming, some moron stole my content and reposted it on social media out of context to try to make me look bad. So I got no attention, no views, nothing on it at all. Zero.
Yeah, he was pretty upset about the first one that kind of started this trend, which was from a stream of him playing Doom: The Dark Ages, where he played pretty slowly. Basically, the situation was that Phil came across a room full of explosive barrels that were, in his words, a booby trap, and that if he just ran in, he would have just blown up and died. But when you watch the clip, you see he's inside of a room also full of explosive barrels. So what exactly was the actual issue, Phil? You're still in the booby-trapped room. You still have just as much of a chance of dying sitting back where you're at as if you ran into the room. Also, if you died in the booby trap before, why not just shoot the barrels from outside of the room? Phil has multiple options as a solution and still manages to pick the dumbest and most boring one to do. Fork found in kitchen. Because of this, Phil's response to everyone who criticized his gameplay was, and I quote,
oh yeah, no, I saw the stupid tweet about me playing Doom that's completely out of context and the idiots all liked it and I already just destroyed them on Twitter and called them all the retards that they are.
Yep, you sure did destroy them, Philip. Sure. And with that slur drop from the King of Pigs himself, that brings us to the next thing. I'm not really sure what made Phil a bit more, let's say, bold with how he talks, but I've noticed he's been saying a certain word a lot more often, that word of course being retard or retarded. He calls other players that, he calls his detractors that, but God forbid you say in his chat, lest ye be banned because you said it in the wrong context. You might be a bit confused on what I mean by that, so let me break it down for you. No. We're not doing that joke again. I already did it in the first one. Basically, sometime after he started saying it again, someone in his chat also said it, calling somebody else in that chat that word. But if Phil is allowed to say it, why did that person in the chat get banned? Well, the answer is, actually not quite simple.
What it is now this morning on my podcast, we had a discussion about the word retard and what it means. Okay? And that if you're using it as an actual descriptor, an actual description of people's behavior, meaning their thought is actually retarded because they're not smart. They have stunted intelligence, right? That's not offensive. It's offensive if you're actually saying that someone has the condition who doesn't have it. There's a medical condition called that, and that's not what I'm saying when I say the word.
Phil, that's exactly how you used it. You called people in Street Fighter that, but not in the context that you said was okay.
Safe. You didn't do anything, you fucking retard. You're a terrible player.
Eventually, though, he was bullied by his chat enough and unbanned this person. In another stream, Phil actually explained why he thinks saying that is okay, and once again, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Pay says, Phil dropped the hard R earlier, but he says freaking instead of fucking. I don't get it. You now understand that the word retarded is not a slur? It's not. Do you know what it means to retard something? It means that it's slowed down. It's meant to not be of full speed or capacity. It means it's being held back. It's not an offensive word. Morons have made it an offensive word because they're a bunch of sissy bitches. There's nothing wrong with the word retard or retarded. It has a meaning, all right? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We used to use that word every single day on the fucking schoolyard when I was 5 years old.
A lot of people back then use a certain gamer word, but that doesn't mean it's okay to use it now. But of course, that doesn't stop you though, because you've said that word multiple times. Speaking of that, before I move on to the next topic, in the last video, I showed a clip of Phil saying the N-word during a Prince of Persia stream.
Is the funniest shit ever, I swear to God. He accidentally calls Hulk Hogan a n***. And I'm not trying to be racist or anything. It's the funniest clip ever. You gotta watch it on YouTube.
However, something I realized I didn't mention back then is that he says that Booker T called Hogan the N-word with the hard R at first. I don't know, I just remembered looking up the original vid and laughing so hard because Booker T definitely used a soft A.
We take what we want, and after we take Lex Luger and the Giant, we want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
So, back when the Switch 2 came out, Phil attempted to pre-order it so he could, shittily, play games on it. However, he was instead shocked to find out that his pre-order had been cancelled for some reason. So how exactly did it happen? Well, there's actually two theories, and I'll start with the less likely one. If you know what scalpers are, then you know just how scummy they are. They'll buy a bunch of one item, say a bunch of Switch 2s, and when it releases, they then turn around to sell them off at like 5 times the price of retail. But because they bought so many, the people who missed out on getting one while they were in stock now have to basically resort to either waiting or taking the scalper's deal. Thankfully though, most stores have a policy that only allows one of these items per customer in order to combat this issue. Basically what I'm trying to say is that Phil got fucked over by the anti-scalper policy for the Switch 2 when he tried to buy 2 Switch 2s, and in typical DSP fashion decided to blame his trolls instead of just owning up to not reading the fine print. While still believable, this theory is just a little bit of a stretch. The other theory, which is definitely more likely, well, it's embarrassing to say the least. In short, Phil streamed his order number and one of his detractors canceled that order. In long, Phil decided that despite having so many detractors messing with him and trolling him, he thought that streaming him ordering the Switch 2 was a good idea and basically did the stick in the bike wheel meme.
Well, just ignore me in the corner looking like an idiot. So here it is from Walmart.com, delivery, pre-order date, my address, there it is, the Switch 2, order total, blah, blah, blah. I got it. 100% confirmed. Yeah, I'll self-dox like you guys don't know my address. It was doxed in 2014, the week that I moved here. You guys already know my address, all right? But I'm not going to show you my credit card information and everything, but that's it right here. That's the Walmart pre-order. All right, at 8:55 p.m., I attempted to get the Switch 2. I was going between multiple different websites, including Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and more. Couldn't get it from anywhere but Walmart. Added 2 to cart. Actually checked out both the Mario Kart bundle and this regular Switch 2. Regular Switch 2 was coming June 5th on release day. The other one is coming June 8th. Great. Checked out, paid, good to go. Finishing up my work, turned the stream off. Okay, I'm going to film the daily wrap. As I'm filming this daily wrap, I announce, hey, I got 2 Switch 2s. What a great day. Everything's amazing. And then I check my email where it proceeds to tell me that both orders have been canceled. Someone socially engineered my account on Walmart.com and through basically very basic information, what it must have been, because it certainly wasn't anything crazy, they got access and canceled my orders. So now I don't have a Switch 2.
I feel like I shouldn't be surprised, yet I somehow am. Phil knows how his detractors work. He knows that the second that they get some kind of info to screw him over, they use it. Why in the fuck did he think that sharing his order info wasn't going to be used against him? And then, during a daily wrap where he talks about his pre-order getting canceled, he literally mentions that, and I quote...
So I want you guys to understand again that when people say that, oh, you know, DSP exaggerates or whatever, no, they actually do this stuff to me. This is why I refuse to give any personal details about anything in my life. This is why I will not film anywhere in my house. I will not do IRL vlogs. Anything that I do that's information, they use to hurt me.
Phil, you showed the pre-order info on screen. That is literally you sharing personal details about something in your life. You knew that your detractors and trolls do this, yet you still showed the order number and your email on stream. They didn't need to socially engineer your account to cancel it. You gave them everything they needed to do so yourself. That is entirely on you. But of course, your ego will never let you admit it. Unfortunately for everyone, he did still end up getting his Switch too, so now everyone who watches his stream has to watch him play Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza shittily, and then claim that the game cheated or didn't hold his hand on how to play. Phil has a very narrow view of the world. And the sky is blue. I know, both shocking statements. But evidence of this narrow view is from his 3 Paths talk that he did. After an experimental stream, Phil went on to talk about how he streamed he didn't beg and didn't earn, using that in the loosest way possible, mind you, him any money. By the way, he did the same thing that Disney does when they release something original and didn't advertise the stream in any way. And then he went on to how he has 3 choices in his career. Once again, loose use. He either sells out, in his own words, becomes a drama channel, or just does the same shit that he's been doing for the last 16 years. You know, begging constantly, bitching about his detractors, and just being terrible at games.
So, course number 1 is a simple course, but it's a course that would mean a lot of changes for me. Alright? Sell out. Just give up on the fact that I've been this stubborn asshole for the last 10 to 15 years of my life and career, and say, I give up on trying to be different. I give up on trying to do things in a different way. I should just do what's best for myself and my family and say, fuck all this. Stop standing on my own laurels, my own values, my own loyalty, my honesty. What does it all really mean anyway? Right? At the end of the day, does any of it actually matter? Or does what matters is that I have the ability to provide for my family? Okay? So when I say this, what do I mean? I mean, immediately I start reaching out to every major company that makes games, all those PR managers in between, indie game companies, game peripheral companies, every single fucking company. And I say, hey, let's make a deal. Send me your game. Send me your product. Send me this, and I will shill it. Right? I will shill everything possible. I'll use your referral code. I will play your game early, and I will not break the street date, and I won't say a negative word about your game. I'll kiss its butt. I'll do exclusive stream previews for my audience so they'll see games ahead of time, and I'll get everything early, and I'll do advanced reviews and sneak peeks, and you can fly me out to events where you can schmooze me in person and fluff me up so that I can get hype for your game and say your game is the best game ever. Everyone should be excited for it. Everyone should buy it. And you, in turn, will give me money, or you will give me exclusive access to that, so that then I will benefit from it. And then it'll be the, you pat me on the back, I pat you on the back, unspoken rule, that we will keep this in the loop, and we'll all just keep helping each other in a circle, and that's how we all make bank, and that's how we all get by. Ladies and gentlemen, any content creator that you see that is a gamer or influencer who abides by everything that I just mentioned has sold out. They don't make content because they're passionate about it. They don't make content because they care about what they're putting out. They make content because they want to make money, to make a living, to support their family, to make bank, to get rich, and to essentially take the bag.
The way he describes the selling out path is to purposefully make it seem like that's the worst choice, when in reality, he basically just means stop being a toxic prick and actually improve my life. What he basically tries to say in this is that every other likable content creator is actually fake and only plays the games they do because it makes them lots of money. He says that he would want to reach out and become a shill who never talks bad about their products. But Phil, you did try that already, and you got rejected because you're a shitty person. Remember the gaming chair sponsorship, Philip? You should, because you tried to claim that it was illegal for them to cancel the sponsorship before you even signed the contract.
There is another path going to the right. And that path, ladies and gentlemen, is the path of drama. The path of hate. The return of the old school, classic, no holds barred, no punches pulled, say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want, because I'm the big dog in the yard and no one's gonna fuck with me. The return of the king of hate, Darkside Phil. I shit on everything, I make fun of everything, I razz everything, and I cause drama. I talk shit, and everyone hates me, and I hate them back. So I'm constantly arguing with people. We've got arguments. We've got fights. I'm going on podcasts, and I'm fucking tearing people a new asshole, but then they're tearing me a new asshole. And we got people at each other's throats, and I'm appearing on Lolcow Live and Kino Casino, and I'm screaming at the host, and they're screaming back at me, and we're going crazy. And there's just drama left, right, up, and down. Darkside Phil always causing problems for everyone. He just won't keep his fucking mouth shut because he bothers everyone and he talks shit about everyone. Why can't he just shut the fuck up? But it's very entertaining when he opens his mouth, and you always want to hear the next thing he's gonna say because you don't know how crazy it's gonna be, and you don't know who he's not afraid to piss off next. Internet blood sport. I'm coming at all these motherfuckers who've come after me for the last 10 to 15 years. I'm going to destroy every single fucking one of them. And then when I'm done with them, because it won't take long to go through these fucking schlubs who've shat on me for so long. When I'm done with every one of those fucking losers, and they're just a pile of broken fucking bodies at my feet, then I'm going after everyone else. No one is fucking safe from the king.
The second path he describes as the Return of the King path. Basically going on an epic journey to destroy his detractors, tear people a new asshole, and spread his toxic hate throughout YouTube and Kick. Basically the same thing that he's been doing for years, minus the destroying the detractors and tearing people a new asshole part. Yeah, Phil, the guy who literally got his feelings hurt by low tier gods so hard, he ended up buying a bunch of shit for his setup, is gonna make people fear him. Sure thing, Mr. Benel. Now let's get you back inside so you can have your banana pudding. Ironically enough, everyone in the chat was actually for either one of those sides.
It's funny because the first option I mentioned, the left road, going towards gaming and butt kissing and selling out, some people were like, we would like that. We're okay with that. Now I go to the drama side, and people are like, oh my god, yes, drama. Well, do it, Phil. Change, rip everyone, rah, 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 right?
But we all know that Phil will just still tread the third path, which is just, you know, begging for tips until the 16 years of drinking alcohol, eating shit like Burger King, and sitting on his ass every day finally catch up to him. Why? Well, because it literally requires no effort on his part. He doesn't have to improve, he doesn't have to change, and he will just rake in money from the mentally disabled and easy to manipulate until he's either banned from all streaming services and has to get a job, becomes homeless, dies, or some secret fourth option. Now on to my favorite bit of Phil lore, because it has to do with one of my favorite YouTube groups making fun of this absolute roach. The Vanos crew was introduced to Phil when Nogla shared a clip of the incident, you know which one, on their Gmod hub world.
The DSP incident? That can't be good.
Camera's on the whole time, huh? Camera's on the whole time, huh?
Dude,
Evan goes, what is this?
Evan, he's streaming. He's streaming, and what was he saying he did? He was doing?
He thinks his intro is playing.
Yeah, but he was itching, dude. He just had an itch. He had an itch. He was itchy.
Look how good it feels when he hits the right spot when he's itching.
Dude, when you itching
look at
the
that.
right spot, it's crazy.
Dude,
good.
you ever have an itch like that where once you scratch it, it's just, oh, look at that.
Oh,
my
yeah,
eyes roll
right
to the back
there.
of my head, Tyler, when I scratch the right part of my body.
Yeah.
And ever since then, they have been throwing jokes, making fun of him like they do with Minilad, and I am all for it.
That's the one. That's the one.
Oh my god.
That's the one. That's not, you say that's wings?
And gone.
Oh no.
This game is so much fun.
Hit him while you say that.
I'm feeling
I'm about to. You're about to bust.
oh my god.
I've had to pay a dentist
Wow, 600 boom boxes all at once.
remake these teeth.
And the game pushed me off the road. Nothing I could do. Game literally cheated. I was driving in a straight line, and the game just pushed me off. Nothing I could do. It turned me into a dolphin. Oh, I already have nabbit. Holy fuck. Christ, man! Allahu Akbar! What was I supposed to do? Oh, blue shout. Been on the whole time, huh?
Way to lose to a bot.
Nothing I could do! Game literally cheated. I was in first place the whole time, and then it's like there's items that fuck you up.
Here we go. I was just scratching my leg.
I was just scratching my ball.
I'm
I mean,
never
my
gonna
penis.
win.
I was just jorking my leg.
Unfortunately, though, it seems like Phil didn't actually react to their jokes about him, because despite calling himself an underdog on YouTube, he doesn't like to punch up at creators bigger or more popular than himself, especially if they are well liked. Notice how while explaining the sellout path, he didn't name drop any specific creator. Also, on the whole situation where Nogla quote-unquote donated to Phil, who really cares? Nogla donated one time, most likely just to troll Phil, if it was even him. As far as I know, we don't even know that it was actually him. It could have just been some random person who just decided to donate under Nogla's name. But that didn't stop y'all from starting to go into Nogla's comment section and going wild in there calling him a dent and saying all sorts of DSP related shit. I think what annoyed me the most is that despite Nogla being basically just a passerby to the drama around Phil, he got way more hate than Duty Streams does, and Duty has actually donated to Phil multiple times. Granted, it was with a VPN on in Argentina, so it was significantly less, but it's still money he gave to Phil. Where's that same energy y'all had with Nogla? Duty literally makes like 7 or 8 videos on Phil daily. Why does he suddenly get a pass? So, remember the last video where I talked about how Phil complains about enemies that are completely invisible? By which, of course, I mean that the enemies were completely visible and Phil is either just blind as a bat or making up an excuse? Yeah, this is sort of what this is about. Someone in my comments of the last video mentioned how the reason why Phil has trouble seeing those enemies is because his TV is far away from where he sits. Now, when Just Kyle mentioned this, I of course facepalmed, because while it did surprise me, it just screams Phil. However, it wasn't until recently that I saw just how bad his setup actually is. What in the fuck is this? No wonder he can't see other players or things hitting him in games. If that monitor right there is how he reads chat, I'm surprised he can even read it. It actually does give me flashbacks to how my setup used to be, where my TV was far away and high up. But at least I had an actual excuse. I wasn't getting hundreds of thousands of dollars donated to me after begging for hours on end. I was basically broke. So you know what, just for a little bit of fun, let's go ahead and do a bit of a dive into what we can see in this setup. Alright, so we've got one TV, 2 monitors, one of which doesn't look like it gets any use, 2 PCs, 1 laptop, 3 keyboards, 3 mice, I think 2 Wiis, but it's a bit hard to tell if the one on the TV stand shelf is a Wii, a Stream Deck, I don't know what these things are, 2 chairs, one of which doesn't look like it gets any use, 4 controllers, bunch of stuff behind the TV that I can't even tell what it is, 1 TV stand, 2 desks, one of which doesn't look like it gets any use, one of the 3 $200 mic arms he bought, 1 fan, a bunch of random pieces of furniture or things I can't even identify, and of course, all the flashy items that we can't see in these photos because they're behind him. Jesus fucking Christ. It's so cluttered. It feels like that image that's supposed to simulate a stroke, which might actually explain why Phil looks like that. This looks like one of those setups that people would send to J-Schlatt just to make him upset. I remember Phil saying that low tier God setup is cheap, but at least it's way more organized than whatever the fuck you have going on in that room.
So see, I'm taking a look at his setup, and I see in his background he has the hexagon felt panels. So he has basically the dollar store version of my setup. That's what that is. That's the really cheap one that you can get. Like, you could buy a ton of those for like 20-30 bucks. And it's just like little sticky tape you put on the wall. So it's basically like the far, far inferior version of what I have behind me. But he's going to say to me that my setup is bad. And my setup's terrible. And his is really, really good.
Oh yeah, speaking of low tier God. So for a very long time, Phil and low tier God have had a massive feud with each other. Which honestly, low tier God has won in pretty much every circumstance. Pretty recently, Phil had been begging, and I mean begging, low tier God to join him in a podcast to play Street Fighter against him because he believes that it'll be the fight of the century that would rival the views of Evo. What was low tier God's response to this?
Hey mod, somebody ban that fucking weirdo bringing up that Burt Reynolds nigga in my other chat. Get him out of here, thank you. Mods. Thank you. Keep telling that broke ass nigga, if you want to play me in anything, it's gonna cost you $5 grand. You want to collab with me, Burt Reynolds? $5 grand, broke ass nigga. Why? I'm trying to figure out why would a broke, worthless squeegee think that I need to do something to help their platform? Why the fuck would I play bum in a fucking money match when you're begging me to play you in a video game? How difficult is that shit to understand? Like, you've been begging me for multiple years to play you in a video game, and you think that I should just be like, you know what, cool, I'll do a money match. Let me just go ahead and play a guy that's stalking me, talking shit on Twitter, broke as fuck, a worthless bum in life. And me, I'm gonna come off my pedestal and play a worthless bum in a money match. No, nigga, you're asking for a collab. Therefore, you should pay me, you broke, worthless fuck. This ain't no friendly thing, you broke ass nigga. This is somebody begging and asking me for multiple years to play him in a video game. That sounds like you're trying to purchase me in a collab. This ain't no money match. What year is this, bro? This ain't no fucking 2015, nigga. 2016, 2017. We're talking about money matches. That's how you know that is on Burt Reynolds' timing. Like I said, he wouldn't call me a coward to my face. Now, would he? I'm a coward because I won't play a stalking grown man in a video game? Yeah, all right. Keep that shit on the internet. I'll pull your mustache off like Mr. Potato Head. You can't beat me at anything in life, nigga. Not any version of Street Fighter that's 4 and up. You can't beat me at baseball, soccer, football, weightlifting, running, boxing, nothing, nigga. Just get off my dick, you fucking peon. The fuck, you soft body fuck. Why do you think he's so desperate to play me in something? He wants clout, notoriety, so on and so forth. The nigga's literally scum. He's a broke, worthless bum. That's what I said. They should just crowdfund it. The fuck, if people are so obsessed with me playing this broke ass, crowdfund it. I'm not playing no fucking broke ass arcade ex junkie that drinks monsters and has a fucking triple crease hairy midsection gut in Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I don't play Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I was never no professional with that corny ass game. Nothing. Fuck out of with that Street Fighter 2 Turbo shit. Still living off the glory of Street Fighter 2 Turbo. If he could bench 3 plates, he could play me. Yeah, hey, let's do that. That's a bet. If you could bench press 315, no spotter, yeah, I'll play you in Street Fighter. How's that sound? On video, so 3 plates. It needs to be tested for real weights, everything. If you could do that, I'll play you in Street Fighter. I need you to bench 315. You have a week to do it.
Honestly, pretty valid and smart on Low Tier God's side. The main reason Low Tier God refuses to fight Phil without $5,000 up front is because other people have promised the same thing that Phil has, and Low Tier God got burned on those deals. Me personally, I think Phil is just jealous that Low Tier God actually learns from past mistakes and doesn't just put the pipe in his bike tire for the 42nd time in a row. Well, here's the thing, Phil. You already did play against Low Tier God in Ultimate Street Fighter 4, and how it ended may shock viewers.
Oh, God.
Typical scrub character.
Another Relento
just
means
troll.
another match. I'm gonna get effing bodied.
I'm just gonna troll right now.
Every fucking match with Relento, I get bodied now.
I don't even need to go 100%. I'm sick of these idiot scrubs talking. Come on, you fucking scrub. Starts off the match with a scrub cycle pressure, praying that it fucking works. Typical dumb scrub. Fucking idiot. Come on, run.
I tried to fucking do a move!
This dude's an idiot. You fucking dumbass.
Wow.
Don't fucking talk. Play the fucking game.
Fight is underway. What's next?
You can't even stop the pogo? I'm doing unsafe pogo mix-ups. Easy combo.
What the fuck? Put him blocked.
You're still gonna lose. Wake up with something. Doesn't know how to punish my roll. I could probably just keep doing that to this idiot. This is fucking free.
Oh my god, I couldn't block the cross.
That's fucking round 2. Easy.
Damn.
Let's get to the next fucking game with this idiot fucking scrub.
Ridiculous. I don't know. He has so many mix-ups and so many insane combos, apparently.
This guy was talking shit that looked like a pile of dog shit. You fucking turd. Fat fuck.
Yep, he got destroyed by Low Tier God, but I wonder why Phil wants to get his ass beat again so hard. Is it because that he genuinely just wants to have fun? Money! He thinks this will make him a lot of money! But outside of the ass beating that Phil desperately wants for some reason, Low Tier God has also just demolished Phil in other places. Low Tier God does what he does best and just absolutely roasts Phil. From his voice, to his shitty facial hair, to how he dresses, his background, etc. Think of Low Tier God versus Darkside Phil as the Kendrick versus Drake of the streamer scene. Well, okay, I mean, if people actually liked Low Tier God, of course. Low Tier God basically hurt Phil's ego so badly, Phil turned a 10-minute response into a 2-hour rant because of it.
Like a man that doesn't hit the gym daily or weekly, you can't speak to me. On top of that, if you're not properly groomed, you can't speak to me. On top of that, if your voice box and vocal cords never deepen, you can't speak to me. If you're still rocking a goatee in 2023, you can't speak to me. If you're 5 foot something, you can't speak to me.
What? Whoa. That's a lot to unpack right there. That was a ton. Why do you care about someone's personal grooming or facial hair? What does that have to do with anything, and why does that matter to you?
If you never upgraded your camera quality to pristine for your audience, you can't fucking speak to me.
Wait. What? If I didn't upgrade my camera quality to pristine, you can't speak to me. Do you see my camera right? Hold on a second.
Yo, we are not on the same level. We are not in the same space. I'm Low Tier God. I don't even know what the fuck a DSP is, bro. Stop trying to push that narrative. If I was him, I would literally focus on trying to rebuild my brand. Like, hit the gym, get hair transplant surgery, or wear hats 24/7 on stream. Stop wearing a face goatee. Like, you know what a goatee looks.
Fake laugh, hiding real pain.
This is sad AF. Stop mentioning me and upgrade your streams. Godspeed.
So now, it's time to get a little real, all right?
LTG, you fucked up.
Wait, that makes any kind of fucking logical sense to the audience you're talking to. 90% of the people listening to you are laughing at you because they don't know what the fuck you're saying. 5 bands, crispy, what the fuck? Get a fucking dictionary. Get a thesaurus. Read this fucking okay, now.
Phil also keeps mentioning how Low Tier God lost to someone named Jay Snyder, which is Phil's go-to explanation on why Low Tier God refuses to fight him. But there's the itty-bitty tiny thing that Phil is forgetting when he says that. He's not Jay Snyder. He's Philip Burnell, and Philip Burnell is shit at games. Also, real quick, let me just say that Low Tier God is still a very shitty person, but at least he is leagues funnier and better looking than Phil is. The funniest thing about Phil is that he cries weird. Also, while writing this script, I came across the DMs between Low Tier God and Phil on Twitter, and they're just sad. The way he talks to Low Tier God in DMs is like how you'd ask your parents for money to go on a field trip, carefully treading and trying to look respectful, but coming off more as scared and pathetic. It especially comes off like that since he talks way differently when it's not just in private messages.
So what the fuck are you talking about? You're not crispy, dumbass. You're crisp. Use the right fucking words. You sound like an idiot every time you open your fucking mouth and you say something dumb like this. Fucking grow up and use an iota of the I know you're intelligent. I know you're an intelligent dude. But you say the dumbest shit and you're trying to use it as an insult against someone. Say the right fucking words, you moron. Like, seriously. Shut the fuck up about other people's appearance if you can't even describe your own in a way that makes any kind of fucking logical sense to the audience you're talking to.
It just shows that Phil really is just a keyboard warrior. Also, side note, Phil keeps trying to insinuate that Low Tier God is gay because he wants Phil to lift and squat 350 pounds for the collab now. But Phil, we all know that Cat is the best beard you'll ever have. In April of 2021, as everyone knows, Phil was banned from Twitch's partner program, which in his eyes is a ban on Twitch because he can no longer make money. For a good while, a lot of people weren't actually sure why exactly he was banned, and funnily enough, the answer might actually be way more simple. For once, he was banned for hateful insults and racial slurs.
Everyone knows that. What are you talking about? How the fuck can you say you ran an investigation and you found that I constantly use hateful speech and you're getting me out of your partner program because of it. You didn't watch my content. You lied. You literally didn't watch my content. What happened is people mass flagged my content with lies and you didn't bother to investigate it. You just removed me because you're fucking lazy and unprofessional and broke the law when you violated the terms of the contract I signed with you.
Yep, that checks out.
Fuck you, you little fat man-child piece of shit. You know, whatever they're gonna say to me.
I know, you're a Oh, yes. Nice fucking rose tattoo on your chest, you fat
Arnold Filzen.
But of course, just because we actually know the reasons, that doesn't mean we can't at least talk about some of the theories I've seen while doing the research. So there's 2 theories that I've seen, and they're both from It's a Gundam, from his video explaining how and why he got banned from the partner program.
Number 1, it could be DSP's tweet about the Hoid. I don't even know if that worked. Trial verdict.
His first theory is that he was banned due to a tweet he made about the opinions of corporations about the Chauvin trial, which of course was the trial that found Derek Chauvin guilty of murdering George Floyd. Now, Phil's take is pretty dumb. I was about to say, and the sky is blue, but I think I've already made that joke about 3 times already. This theory isn't super likely though, because I don't think he really says anything here that can constitute a ban from Twitch.
2, DSP could have been nailed for breaking the 24-hour Twitch exclusivity rules that they have with their partners and maybe even affiliates.
Okay. Partnership removals. From Twitch partnership removals. Notice of indefinite suspension and termination for Darkside Phil. Dear Phil Burnell, pursuant to the content license agreement and then the date that I signed it, by between you and Twitch Interactive with respect to your Twitch account Darkside Phil, we're terminating the agreement effective immediately pursuant to the terms contained within. Sincerely, Twitch partnership team.
Gundam's second theory is that Phil violated Twitch's 24-hour exclusivity rule. This rule basically stated that any kind of stream or highlight had to stay exclusive to Twitch for at least 24 hours and couldn't be uploaded anywhere else until then. Twitch has since then removed this rule, but not before Phil possibly violated it. Basically what Phil would do is stream on Twitch, finish the stream, download the VOD, upload it to YouTube, and then delete the Twitch VOD, and he did so quickly in hopes that Twitch would just somehow not notice that he streamed. This one was the most likely theory due to how he reads off an email from Twitch that basically says that he violated a content license agreement, and someone on Twitter interpreted that to be him violating that rule. But if you think that losing a Twitch partnership will keep him from dancing on the line of catching a ban from another streaming service, forget about it! Let me tell you something about the streamer of ours named Philly. A really dumb guy who on a stream stroked his Philly. And when he found out that he'd been banned from a Twitch, moved to the tube and tried to steal the money from a kick. I might have autism. Yeah, so basically he tried multiple times to effectively scam Kick out of money, which surprisingly hasn't got him banned. Yet. Essentially, if you don't know how Kick works, there's a little incentive to host your stream exclusively on their website, which is just extra money. You are still allowed to stream on both Kick and whatever other streaming site you're streaming on, but you have to check a box that says you are doing so. Phil has forgotten multiple times to check that box and has had to have a Kick moderator remind him to check it.
There we go.
Look at this guy having a lot of fun. Bro, what a hype stream. Oh my gosh. Ripping and tearing. Come on.
Thank you, Kick Support. Appreciate that. I totally forgot.
Not even a pause
Kick
stream.
Support, just give me a solid. Thank you, Kick Support.
Well, Alt was laughing after it, but essentially, Phil realized that someone came in his chat and said, excuse me, brother, we know that you multi-stream. Why didn't you click multi-stream?
As much of a meme of Kick never banning people is, I'm genuinely surprised that Phil hasn't already been banned for actively breaking this specific part of the TOS. Why they're giving him as many chances as they have is a mystery, but hopefully Phil keeps testing that limit and finds out just how many chances there are. Recently, Phil has been really leaning into the whole wage quit thing, and as bad as it was before, it's gotten a lot worse now. But despite how much more often he's doing so, he refuses to admit that he wage quits. And also admit that he does wage quit. Yeah, trust me, I'm just as confused.
All these, what are you talking about? All these games that you say people want you to play and you play them and then they don't work and you quit. What games did I quit? Really? Okay, here we go. Because I love it when people have to talk out of their ass and then I'm able to actually fucking expose them for how stupid they are. Mario Kart World, a game that I played for a month and a half despite the fact that it didn't even have content. I kept playing it for a month and a half and I finally only stopped playing it when I got my second win against all odds, stream snipers trying to stop me. I persevered against them and won anyway. And then the support dried up and I said, let's stop playing it.
He says he doesn't rage quit games, and then proceeds to list off a bunch of games, most of which he quit because people weren't giving him money to do so. Also, by the way, there's a whole list of all the games and other things that Phil quit, and even though not all of them are wage quits, the fact that he's quit 39 things is astounding. Hell, even more crazy is that this list only covers things he quit in 2025. There are still years of things he quit doing or games he quit playing, most of which was because he wasn't getting enough money to do so. But what he plays or does isn't the only thing where money is Phil's motivation, because how much people donate to him can also change his mood. This was pointed out to me in my comments, and funnily enough, it's the same comment that inspired me to start the Let's Suffer series. But basically, if he doesn't hit the goal, he'll either take it out on his viewers.
Yeah, guys, so here's the thing. Did I have a good time tonight? Yes. Did you guys in the chat seem to have a good time? 50-50. Half of you seem to really be liking it, and half of you seem to not like it. And take a look at the support. I mean, let's be honest. Slow. We had over 100 likes, thanks, but $20 in super chats, no memberships, and not even $30 in tips. It's one of the slowest streams I've done in weeks. But guys, I mean it now. Support this goddamn stream right now. I mean it. I don't want this game, which I love, and I want to share with you. I want to share my passion for gaming with you. I want you to support this stream to show that every one of you that says, just play what you love, you should be here right now supporting Suicode N2. Because if you say that's the best course of action, then you should support what you think is the best course of action. And that's the problem. People talk, but they don't act. So they say, just play whatever you want, you'll be successful. Well, I'm doing that literally right now. I'm about to play Suicode N2, which I want to play. Now support Suicode N2. Get it? You need to put your money where your mouth is. You need to support these things, or else I can't do that. I want to play more games that I like, but I need people to actually show up for them so that I can play them. So do it right now. Let's go. Let's get a super chat. Let's get a sub. Let's get a membership. Let's get a tip. Let's get some kicks. Corpse Fire says the game's very boring, though. Well, then shut the fuck up. I don't care. You say I should play what I like. I like this game. I don't find it boring, so I'm going to play it. And you're going to support it. Or else shut up about playing what I like. I'm tired of hearing the bullshit.
Or even just on the game itself. During one of his streams, Phil was playing an indie horror game called Luto. Phil's donations were low for this stream, and he didn't hit any goals for both his morning and night stream, and this was starting to get to him.
Guys, I'm just going to stand up and stretch my legs a little bit here, and then we're going to continue. I don't hear anything anymore. All I hear is the squeakiness. That's all I hear is the squeak. I don't hear anything anymore, so I have no idea where to go. This is insanely stupid. How dumb could they have been? Let's make a giant, insanely dark room. The light is only local to your feet. This is clown mode shit. I just want to fucking go to the next part.
From whining and saying that his viewers lied about the length of the game, even though a majority of the time he played was spent begging.
Wise Guy says, no way you're beating it today. So Wise Guy, since you seem to have played the game, how long is it? It said it was 3 hours long if you know how to beat it. It's 5 hours long if you do everything. Well, guess what? We're about 4 hours in, and I'm not getting stuck. I think people are just full of shit, and they completely lie about stuff. Like, I thought this game was short. That's why I put it in the schedule. But apparently it's not short, and now it sucks, because as you can see, every time I play this game, I don't get support. Yeah, as usual, people say, oh, the game's 2.5 hours. No. We're about to hit 5 hours, and we're not even nearly done, so people are always full of crap when they try to review these games. Because, again, they cheat, and they have guides, and they turbo through the game, and they're like, oh, you can beat the game in 2.5 hours. Yes, if you know how to play it and you've cheated.
To him trying to manipulate his audience by saying he's not allowed to play a game if people don't donate to it.
I would like to hit $100 on this stream. It sucks because now I don't even know if I should play this again. I want to see the ending, But if it's going to be the stream that no one supports, then I don't know what to do. I guess I'm not allowed to play different games. I'm really not. If I'm not playing a game where we can 100% hang out the entire time, or a game where it's like complete action all the time, apparently I'm not allowed to play it.
To just straight up saying that the game is bad because there's no yellow paint to tell him where to go or what to do.
Can we please have a word with these fucking game devs for a minute?
Hey, stupid.
Listen, I want to enjoy your game, but you have to not make it fucking annoying. You have to make it fun to play, rewarding, not wandering around in the fucking dark with no idea where to go.
Of course, though, it's not just indie games he gets mad at when donations are low. He also gets pretty upset at AAA game devs like Nintendo. During one of his Donkey Kong Bonanza streams where he got low donations, you could physically see him get more and more upset as he keeps going.
Well, what? He fell off the platform. Great. Why am I getting hit by fucking lightning all of a sudden? When was there ever lightning? Here we go again. Lose 500 coins. For what? I'm just going with the chaos that the game is.
I didn't play it poorly.
Stupid shit. People on social media are like, wow, Donkey Kong Bonanza is the best game Nintendo ever put out. Huh? What do you mean? Do you not play any Nintendo games to think that? Like, how could anyone even say that with a, not messing around? But they were. They're being dead serious. They think this is like the best game Nintendo ever made. Where is he? I can't see. He ran away again. Yo, this is completely awful. What a terrible fucking game.
In my last video, I was both lucky and unlucky that the stream I decided to react to was the one where he got good donations. Lucky in the sense that I didn't have to hear him beg as often, since it seems like while his anger grows, so does the amount of times he begs. But also unlucky because he wasn't getting mad as often about the bullshit game mechanics as he does when donations are low. Speaking of money being a motivation, Phil really likes to think that people only make fun of him or call him out for being a shitty person just because it'll make them money.
But do you see my point? My point is thus, I said this weeks ago and I'll say it again. This weird vortex revolves around me. I don't create the vortex. I don't control the vortex. I want nothing to do with the vortex. I've disavowed it, right? I want nothing to do with any of this nonsense. But they leech daily off of me. Okay? Every single day. They need me. Without me, there's nothing going on. They have no content. They have no lives. They have no personalities. They have to just basically every day make content out of me.
What Phil doesn't seem to realize, though, is that a lot of people do shit like this just for the love of the game. I was under 500 subs when I made the first video, which meant that I wasn't even qualified for any kind of monetization. Yet, that didn't stop me from dropping a 2-hour video on his head, and then another, however long this video is, about a year after that. Phil basically thinks that without him, most of these people wouldn't exist. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's like saying if cancer didn't exist, no one would get it. But Phil, if you didn't exist, then the company behind WWE Champions would have gone bankrupt years ago. So at least there are some people who are actually happy that you exist. So about 10 years ago, Phil used to host these giveaways where he'd give out signed games, and he would... Oh, wait, hold on, I skipped over a word there. Where he'd give out signed game cases, and... Wait, what? Yep, that's right. Phil would hold these hardcore gaming season giveaways, whatever the fuck that means, where one of the prizes he'd send out to the winner of that season's giveaway was none other than an empty game case with Phil's signature either on it or on a business card because he was too lazy and cheap to get a silver Sharpie.
Alright, what is up everybody? Darkside Phil here, and welcome to the Hardcore Gaming Season giveaway of 2013. Alright, the very first item I'm giving away is Deus Ex Human Revolution's Collector's Edition content. So let me show you what exactly that is. This is Deus Ex Human Revolution Collector's Edition. Comes with this very nifty collector's box on the inside. Comes with a few things. First of all, Collector's Edition packaging. As you open that up, you're going to see
The game's gone because I traded it in years ago, but it does have the second bonus disc that probably has the behind-the-scenes content and stuff like that. I'd be more than willing to sign Deus Ex, however, I looked inside of it, and it looks like it's all dark, like everything's black, so it probably makes more sense to have me maybe sign a few business cards and stuff. So, Felix, when I contact you, please respond back and let me know if you want me to include some signed business cards with this. This week, we will be giving away Dark Freaking Souls. Now, keep in mind, I want to clarify, this is not the game. The game I actually traded in several months ago. Mass Effect 3 Collector's Edition, but the game is not in it. So to warn everyone, just to show you for full disclosure, no game. However, you get this really cool steelbook case. Alright, well, it's not a very good one, I'll admit. Look at this, full anime drawing artwork, metallic. On the back, there's more. And on the inside, it's fully animated. See that? Fully decorated with artwork from the game. I already traded in the game. Halo 4's Collector's Edition content, okay? This one is unfortunately not good. I did redeem the other Collector's Edition content. This stuff I already redeemed, so that's no good, but you'll get the card and you'll get the case right here. Let me see. Unfortunately, I traded the game in, but you get this Collector's Edition Halo 4 Steelbook case as well.
Don't worry, you heard that right. Phil sells the games to GameStop, probably for like 5 cents, keeps the case for it, and sends it off as a giveaway prize. Also, by the way, just look at how Pandalee looks in this clip. She does not want to be there. And of course, despite Phil quite literally recording the evidence, about 13 years later, he tries to debunk the claim that he gave empty game boxes to people.
Reluctant Hand Job did a $5 super chat. What a name. And they said, I'm just learning of you from documentaries. So many questions. Please explain empty game boxes as prizes. Yes, I never sent empty game boxes as prizes. It never happened, okay? That's a meme that was made up by my detractors over a decade ago, and for some reason it stuck, even though it's not true at all.
What do you mean it's just a meme that the detractors and the trolls made up? You literally recorded the footage of you doing it. Are you trying to say that this isn't you right here? The evidence is literally on your channels. I think the guys at Kino Casino said it best.
Like, he's just going to deny something that anyone could pull up and present, like, 4K video evidence of. He's going to say it never happened.
By the way, this is still very evident to this day with his gameplay. He'll do something wrong, and then say that he didn't do it. Phil was definitely that one kid that would knock over vases or draw over the walls and then just proceed to claim that a ghost did it. And then he grew up and continued to do so, but with games and giving away empty game cases. As a way to finally end this segment, I wanted to finish off with Phil's alcoholism. Phil constantly claims that he is a recovering alcoholic, yet continues to drink for stream goal rewards.
I will tell you, there were times in my life when this was absolutely the case. There was times during the 2000s, and there were times during the 2010s when this was the case for me, where it was out of control, and I was acting in ways that I normally wouldn't because I was under the influence. It was actually hurting my lifestyle, my body, my relationships with people. Absolutely. I've told you this stuff, right? But what's hilarious about this is that people say, oh my God, wait a minute, but you were an alcoholic. You're drinking? Yes, because in life, it's not absolutes. Do you get it?
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Well, see, Phil, the issue is that when you're a recovering alcoholic and you, let's say, decide to drink alcohol, you are no longer a recovering alcoholic because you're not supposed to fucking drink. If you do, you go into this little itty-bitty thing called relapse, and not the fun M&M kind. Although for Phil, considering that he seems to drink at least once a week on stream, and probably once a day off stream, he's already fallen into that. Addictions are very difficult to quit, and millions of people suffer from them. And yet, here's Phil boasting about being a recovering alcoholic while taking shots of gin for $100 each, and then gambling that money away on JPEGs of sweaty men.
Tequila! Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jinx has just hit me another $100. So let's take a celebratory shot, because I beat M. Bison in Super Turbo. on the hardest difficulty. It took over an hour, but I did it. So we're going to take a celebratory shot of tequila, and also in conjunction with the contributions I've received today. Indeed, yes, that means I need to take, what is this, my 5th shot? Or is this my 6th shot? I mean, I've been drinking now since like 11 a.m., so at least I've been pacing myself well. Oh la la. So Jinx, excuse me. Jinx tipped me $100 again. Yeah, guys, you know, again, people are like, why'd you say Ryan? Because I'm tipsy. I've been doing this all day.
It's just another reason why Phil is just a despicable person in general, and just another example of how full of himself he is. Okay, so we finally got through all the small stuff. How long was that? Oh, shit. Well, one in Rome, I guess. So this next segment is going to focus more on some of the larger arcs and events that I missed. Tales of betrayal, snakes, lies uncovered, and most of all, Phil being Phil. So, where do we start with this? Phil getting snaked by the people he thought were his last couple of friends who were definitely not just fucking with him and felting him the whole time? Or do we start with the tale of his biggest whale swimming for cleaner oceans that were free of toxicity and hatred? Honestly, yeah, let's start with that one. So, remember back in the last video during the 7 Deadly Sins of DSP segment where in the greed section I talked about him not even being able to push his ego aside to get money? To not make a single excuse during one match of Black Ops 6. He failed within the first 15 seconds.
Sure, I'll accept the no excuses wager, Iron Chef Sakai, I will.
Yeah, that. Well, at the same time, I didn't know that Iron Chef Sakai, the one who proposed the wager in the first place, was actually one of Phil's dents. Which now that I look back at it, it does make a lot more sense that he wasn't banned for not giving Phil the money for losing the wager. Well, sometime after that, Iron Chef Sakai, who I'll just call ICS for simplicity's sake, started donating to another streamer named Strangely Lex. Strangely Lex is a streamer who mostly does just chatting and IRL streams. She was of course made aware of Phil's existence when people noticed that ICS was donating to her stream, and since then she has done everything that Phil has done in order to basically dunk on him, and while doing so, she accidentally did it several times better than Phil ever could. She built Legos on stream, had a hat skull, had people hit a goal for her to do shots, all of those done without either Lex or her girlfriend MJ having to constantly beg for people to hit those goals.
Baby, we might do it. Tell them if we hit this sub goal right here. Look at baby. If we hit that sub goal, then we're doing a Lego stream tomorrow.
Twilight Lego?
I don't know if we'll be able to get our hands on Twilight Lego tomorrow.
Twilight Lego. Do Twilight Legos tomorrow.
What are you doing? I remember giving the chef hat idea. You did.
Whose idea was it for me to do shots for fucking 20 subs? That's a good idea.
That was
I feel
you.
good. I feel good.
Really?
Yeah, this is
it
nice.
wasn't 20 subs.
Like
it was
this.
$20. That's a huge difference. But
Oh yeah, $20.
Are you tipsy?
No, but this is nice to cook and feel this way. No,
Holy shit! Iron Chef with the 25 subs. Dude, fucking W. Thank you so much, Iron Chef.
Iron Chef.
We hit the hot goal. We did hit the hot goal. Let's fucking go. Hot goal.
That's cute. They give him options.
And for once in his life, ICS was finally seeing appreciation for his support of somebody. But this made Phil angry. How dare ICS give Phil's hard-earned cash to someone else? All that money was his by law, dude. He's not legally allowed to give... I can't even fucking take this seriously. He's not legally allowed to give that money to someone else ever! So what was Phil to do to punish this insubordination?
By the way, Iron Chef Sakai is banned and he's never coming back. He can go fuck himself. I've had enough of his simple shit. Really, I have. Like, he's fucking coming in here being toxic all day. He came in here this morning. I tried to defend him. And then all he does is he's toxic all fucking day. The entire stream tonight, he's fucking, oh, the other person is doing it better and their stream is better. Then you can stay over there. And don't fucking come back, bitch. Really, this time, don't come crawling back on your hands and knees like you did last time to try to get in my good graces and try to get the sword and try to get on the Discord. You're getting on nothing. Nothing. What you're doing is you can go lick their asses forever because you think they love you, and you can go fuck yourself. No one cares about you. We're done with your bullshit.
And those simps will not be watching my content because when they act like that, they will get my foot to their fucking ass and they'll never come back. Enough is enough. The drama is over. I don't care how much money he fucking throws at me. Iron Chef Sakai is Iron Chef cooked tonight and isn't coming back. Period. You know, the truth is with someone like Iron Chef Sakai, it's just a matter of time till they turn on you anyway. You can tell he's the kind of guy that the only reason he's around and contributing is because he wants attention, right? It's never enough for him. So I don't care. You can stop telling me that he's talking shit. Of course he is. The guy did an entire stream about me, unhinged, talking shit, right? And then he comes back begging for forgiveness and acting nice and throwing money around. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just ridiculous. Like, I don't want to hear about him anymore. Like, I don't care that he donated to anyone. I don't care. In fact, I don't want to hear it again. If I see it again, I'm just going to start banning. I don't care.
Now, I just want to pop in real quick to point something out, but Phil literally mentions that he has had problems with ICS before. This just shows that you can do whatever the fuck you want in Phil's chat, as long as you wail out for him. By the way, don't do this. ICS has apparently been toxic to Phil for the longest time, and he uses that fact to try and cover up that he's actually just banning ICS for giving money to somebody else. He doesn't want to admit that he is incredibly jealous that his whale is quote-unquoting simping for someone else. Mind you, by the way, Phil tries to call low-tier God gay, but then goes on a rant like a jealous girlfriend who found out her ex is dating somebody new. He doesn't just shit-talk ICS though. Oh, no. He full-on leans into the jealous ex-girlfriend trope and massively shit-talks her as well. Calling all of her viewers simps, making fun of her sexuality. No, I'm not joking.
The question is, who's going to get Iron Chef Sakai's badges because I have stripped him of all of his honors in the chat for being a simp bitch. You remember he wasn't gay but started simping for a woman instead of a fat old man? Yeah, but the woman is gay. The woman is gay. He's simping for... It's like Chasing Amy. Did you ever see that movie? Did you ever see Chasing Amy? The most pathetic movie ever written of a guy who is literally fawning over, stalking, and simping a gay woman who doesn't like him? Yeah, that's Iron Chef Sakai. She said she's not gay, she's bi. Yeah, that's because she wants money from simps, from dumb simps. Of course. Of course.
And of course, probably his smartest idea, being sarcastic of course.
You're fucking squatting on camera for money, you dumb shit. You fucking slut. Fuck these disingenuous people who pretend like they're content creators and they're doing anything they can to make $1. Whether it's, abusing simps on the internet, fucking showing off their bodies and shit. That is 100% slutty behavior, and it's borderline sex work.
Yep, he calls her a slut and basically claims that Lex and MJ are basically sex workers who only get money for their bodies. Remember how low the envy section on the 7 Deadly Sins of DSP was? I should have put it higher up. Also, that part about comparing ICS to a character from the movie Chasing Amy, it seems like it fits you a lot more, Phil. Hell, I'll even prove it with a little editing.
He's simping for... It's like Chasing LTG. Did you ever see that movie? Did you ever see Chasing LTG? The most pathetic movie ever written of a guy who is literally fawning over, stalking, and simping a heterosexual man who doesn't like him? Yeah, that's...
Also, it's weird that with Derek, who was a literal pedophile and a creep, you don't look into what your viewers are doing outside of your stream, but if somebody mentions that one of your top donators are spending money elsewhere, you're instantly on it like a bloodhound. And of course, in typical Phil-style fashion, he tries to retcon it and act like he's never heard of Lex or has any kind of beef with her, and made it seem like the detractors were just blowing things out of proportion.
I have no involvement with any content creator. At all. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You're an idiot. Just because my detractors have turned things into drama doesn't mean I have no involvement with any other content creator. You're a liar. I don't know this other content creator people keep bringing up. I've never seen a piece of their content. I don't even know their fucking name. I have no involvement with them whatsoever. You're a fucking loser for actually saying that. Slut, 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 slut.
At this point, I feel like Phil has this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on in his head. Except that he thinks that Mr. Hyde is just his detractors. Now that I think about it, that sounds like something from a completely different movie and story, but right now, I can't think of the name of it. Since then, the Strangely Lex and Phil feud has died down, I think. And thankfully for Lex, she can finally move on from this and not have to be super associated with Phil and his shitty attitude and content. From what I have seen of Lex's content, she's genuinely pretty funny outside of the Phil-related stuff, and I'm glad she was able to mostly break away from this whole thing. Meanwhile, Phil will probably bring this up at some time in the future and try to make it out like he came out on top, despite never having any problems with her at all. However, ICS isn't the only one who would end up betraying Phil and breaking his trust. Phil was in bad shape. His arch nemesis and fellow lolcow Review Tech USA had him up against the ropes, with no hope of getting out of the constant ridiculing. That was until Kino Casino arrived to help, fending off Review Tech USA's relentless assault and boosting Phil's relevance and ego back up to half of its peak. Phil was saved. Or maybe his so-called saviors were just buttering up for the main course. Or, in other less showman-like words, Kino Casino, hosted by PPP, aka Ashton Parks, and Andy Worski, is a weekly podcast that focuses on drama that happened over the internet and makes fun of the problematic people of it. One day, they caught a whiff of bacon and the sound of a pig's squeal for help, and found Phil being ridiculed by Review Tech USA, who they also ridicule on their show. At that point, the both of them realized that they had the chance to do the funniest fucking thing ever and decided to try out their little experiment. They basically jumped in and started acting like Phil's comebacks and jokes against Review Tech USA were entertaining and complimented how he looks.
Every word from the king's mouth here is righteous and true. Like, he's just nailing it. It's so simple and so eloquent.
Yeah.
The way that he's describing Rich's descent into the grift. You know, Rich started it, but Phil is going to end it right now. Yeah, I know Blanket's saying, like, Phil is so eloquent when he felts these guys. What's happening? Like, he's more eloquent than I am. Like, he's just so straight. He's
simple.
so straight to the point. Is it just me, or has Phil lost weight?
Yeah. Everyone goes up to Phil's channel and tell him the Kino Casino loves him.
Tell him.
Tell him.
There are many who've claimed to be king of the sector, but there's only one true king. The king in the snort. Darkside Phil.
Let's f***ing go.
Once Phil saw that his plan of telling PPP and Andy about Richard seemed to have worked, he thought he had discovered a new friendship. And at that point right there, the Kino Casino guys knew that they had Phil right in the palms of their hands and that everything was going to plan for them. Now, it did take a bit of convincing since Phil had been getting tricked and trolled for around 15 years, but surprisingly, the casino guys were actually able to stay in character. Seriously though, someone needs to get these to an agent, because they were able to act like they actually liked Phil and wanted to be friends with him so well. Hell, even some of Phil's detractors were convinced that PPP and Andy were duped into liking Phil. After a while of buttering him up, Phil was eventually convinced that this wasn't a trick and decided that pairing up would be the best idea for him and his business. And Phil was so convinced that he even asked Andy and PPP to roast his old food reviews. Once they did, Kino Casino did an interview with Phil where they essentially asked him questions that he could answer in a positive way in order to felt trolls. And now it makes a lot more sense where that shitty tagline mentioned in the last video came from. And like I mentioned, his detractors were also very convinced and sent hate to the both of them. At one point, the detractors had even doxed Kino Casino and threatened their editor, but that didn't stop them from defending their good friend Phil. The three of them eventually paired up together to roast Review Tech USA while watching June the King's documentary on him. As time went on, however, PPP and Andy would eventually start to dig into Phil a bit more by making jokes about him and his wife.
People have been saying this for months, so I'm just going to bring it up, and I want to hear what you have to say about it, all right? Is it true that publicly on your show, at some point, I don't know when, you publicly insulted my wife and how she looks? Is this true?
It's true. It's true. We covered the clip where you introduced Kat, reintroduced Kat, and she had gained a bunch of weight. And so we're like, whoa, buddy, his wife's fucking fat. She's this, she's that. But you got to understand, we do that to everybody.
But even then, Phil was still convinced that the constant jokes and insults about him and his wife that would get a normal viewer on his stream banned from chat were just harmless little jokes that the casino guys were ribbing Phil with. Eventually though, not really sure when exactly, Phil got sick of the jokes, cut PPP off from the wrestling podcast that they had together called Smart Guys, and that's about when the facade dropped and PPP revealed that he was actually just snaking Phil the whole time. Andy would go on to an interview with Stephen Cambion, who we'll talk about shortly, to gloat and boast about feeling Phil. Oh. Ugh, that's a scary thought. To gloat and boast about felting Phil the way he did.
He's comfortable about lying about WWE champions and spending tens of thousands of dollars a month while his wife goes without a f***ing honeymoon, while his wife goes without a day of vacation, while his wife works part-time at Best Buy, but he talks about how he loves his wife? Give me a break.
You're right.
And you know what? I care more about Phil's life than he does.
You're trying to help him, yeah.
He doesn't have any passion. He doesn't have any soul in his body. He's a hollowed out husk of a man that let me walk all over him. A 400-pound lesbian looking bum walked all over internet legend Darkside Phil.
For the time that they were friends, Phil was so convinced that the guys at Kino Casino would never snake him. He would ban people from his chat for telling the truth and go on mini rants about how that's just what friends do.
Right? And this is killing the detractor community. They can't fucking take it. They can't believe it. Like, they actually think that this is like a giant plan. To this day, they're still saying, listen to this. They're still saying that Kino Casino is setting me up. Like, this is still a Carrie-like situation where the pig's blood is going to dump out of the sky onto my head. They're still saying that. They can't cope with the fact, they can't handle the fact that actually things are going well for me. Same thing with Kino Casino. A lot of people say, oh, they're just buttering you up for a big downfall. Hey, guys, don't you think it would have happened by now? It was August. It's now going to be December. It's a little late for that now, right? So I think a lot of people were just very wrong about a lot of things. They wanted the worst. They were always there. It's the sky is falling, Chicken Little. But I get it. The reason they think that way is because things went really badly for me for many, many years, and now they've turned around. So, did you see how Kino Casino completely snaked Phil last night? Did you see the segment where they ripped him a new one? Wow, they've turned on Phil. They're his most heinous villains now, and they're going to razz him every day, destroy him every day. Phil's downfall is inevitable. Okay, if you really believe that, all right, really, just listen to this, okay? Some people still think that the Kino Casino is screwing with me. That they actually, like, they don't like me. That this entire thing, these, like, 2 weeks of content, you know, I went on their show. I've appeared in their chat and talked during their show. We did a co-op commentary together on, you know, the review tech thing, okay? There's still people who are saying, this is all just a big play by the Kino Casino guys.
But, of course, in typical Phil fashion, when they finally revealed that they were actually fucking with him the whole time, Phil's ego flared up, and he tried to claim that he knew the whole time.
What's going on in Kick Chat today? Asked Dumpy Koala. It's very simple. As you know, I'm not doing anything else with Kino Casino. Those guys now are all upset because I cut them off. So they're doing their campaign, the anti-DSP campaign, which we all knew was coming all along anyway. Even though I've disassociated myself from those people who I was associating with because they were actually fucking scumbags who I would never associate with in real life for the fucked up stuff that they've done and continue to do. And by the way, they were always planning on backstabbing me anyway, and I knew that from the beginning.
Yeah, let's just ignore the entire compilation of you mentioning how you were convinced that they would never ever snake you, I guess. And I guess we'll also ignore the fact that you shared a lot of personal details with them that they were able to use against you to make you look even more pathetic.
Tell them about the fucking Netflix fucking VPN
Oh my
stat.
god, bro! I couldn't get this guy to figure out how to watch wrestling because I talked to him about doing a wrestling show for a long time, and he said, "Well, I have no way of watching wrestling." And I'm like, "Well, all you have to do is subscribe to this service." And like, he couldn't figure it out. Eventually, finally, when it came to Netflix, because he already had Netflix, he would watch Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
But he couldn't figure out how to watch SmackDown. And I'm like, well, here's this site you could watch it at, you know, this. He just could not figure it out. So finally, I had to teach Phil how to use a VPN. This man is 42, 43 years old, has been an online content creator for 15 years, and he had never used a VPN in his entire life. Phil has a rabbit.
Nice.
Or rather, he had a rabbit.
Oh.
And this rabbit, Phil loved this rabbit. He said it was a substitute for having kids, that he loved this rabbit as though he would love his child. And it was just unbearable, especially when he started in these last couple weeks really dumping on me about his personal issues, about Kat yelling at him, and, you know...
What did she yell at him about? Tell us.
Actually, I probably shouldn't have said that, but yeah, Kat a number of times has yelled at Phil.
About what?
And he's told me, well, one of them was when Steve fucking felted Phil. And I guess Kat just fucking tore into... She didn't know until the next day when she, I guess, overheard Phil talking about it the next day during the pre-stream. And then fucking...
Why? You're pathetic like that. Like,
no,
what was the...
Yeah, I mean, she was like, "Are you fucking stupid? You promised me you would never do this again after the side scrollers interview."
Oh, she'll be mad about this, huh?
You fucking idiot! You stupid, like.
But sure, you absolutely knew that they were being faked the entire time. Keep telling yourself that, buddy. Also, for some reason after that, he teamed up with Review Tech USA for a brief amount of time to try and shit on Kino Casino the same way that he shat on Review Tech USA. Yeah, I'm just as confused. Because during the one podcast that they did together, Richard basically just went, "Yeah, you're fucking dumb," before Phil just kicks him from the call.
Screen share that link that I sent you. I want you to explain it to me.
I'm not screen sharing any links. We're not doing any bullshit that you want to do. It's not your show.
Why
Okay.
is you not doing? It's not my show, but you brought me on.
All right. So
I think Phil, I think you thought this is going to be like some like battered wife. Like, yes, let's go. I don't care about I really don't give a shit. I don't care about.
So in the end, Kino Casino betrayed Darkside Phil, and quite honestly, it was the best story ever, and I'm glad I watched this documentary by Interesting Stuff from Around the World. If you want to check this out for yourself, the link to it will of course be in the description below, so you know where to find it. But even though the Kino Casino guys did end up snaking Phil in the end, they actually did try to help him in multiple ways. For one, like I mentioned before, they basically boosted his relevance and views back up for a temporary amount of time, and like I mentioned near the start of this video, they convinced him that keeping a creep like Derek in the chat to felt the trolls wasn't as smart of an idea as Phil thought it was. So yeah, in a lot of ways, they did actually try to help Phil and tried to move him into a much better path. But now Phil is back to his old ways while PPP and Andy relentlessly make fun of his misfortunes. It just goes to show that you can lead a pig to a fancy restaurant, but you can't keep it from eating out of the trash. Around February 13th, Phil would go onto a stream with a creator by the name of TruthSeekers, also known as Stephen Cambion, who wanted to interview Phil and sort of dig into and uncover some of his lies. Phil didn't know about the latter half of that, of course, so he went into this interview thinking that Stephen just wanted to know about him in general. This interview was basically a trap set up by Stephen Cambion, PPP, and Andy Worski to make Phil sweat about some of his lies. Mostly the ones about where those thousands of dollars from stream donations actually go, using Phil's bank details that were leaked. Throughout the whole interview, you can see Phil slowly get more and more nervous and fidgety up until the point where he finally leaves the call. Now, of course, I'm not going to cover the entire thing, I'm just going to kind of cover the big highlights of the 5-hour interview, but if you want to check it out for yourself, I'll go ahead and leave that in the description below. One of the first major things I want to talk about is Stephen offering Phil a chance to take not one, but 2 polygraph tests in order to try and prove that he hasn't lied about what he's spending his money on, or even just some of his other lies. For some mysterious and unknown reason though, Phil just outright refused to take the test because, quote, "I don't care."
So I have one post-it note here. Can anybody read what that says? It says polygraph test. It says polygraph test. I don't know if you know this. Ashton from Kino knows it, and Andy Worski know it, but I have a polygraph machine, and I'm basically certified polygrapher. So for the rest of tonight's broadcast, I'm going to ask you to answer all the questions truthfully. And then after the show, I'd be willing to come to you and administer a polygraph to make sure you're answering the following questions from here on in truthfully. And failing that, I happen to find a retired FBI polygrapher that lives right in your area, and he's kind of friendly with me. He's done a job for my show before. He's in Seattle, so he could just easily drive to where you are and administer the polygraph either at your house or at a hotel nearby your house. Would you be willing to submit to that?
For what reason? What benefit do I have to do that? Because
so that you could clear your name. Like everybody keeps listen, Phil, everybody keeps saying you're lying about a lot of stuff that we're going to get into next. You say those bank leaks aren't yours, right? We'll put you on a polygraph and ask you that question again and verify that you've been telling the truth this entire time and you haven't lied about that. I think this is a great idea, and if you don't agree to this, it doesn't look good for you. Because it kind of looks like you're avoiding.
Let me fully respond.
Responsibility.
Shall I? Shall I fully respond? Okay.
There you go. And by the way, that's 2 offers. And here's what I would do to make it completely fair. If you agree to it, I'll do a polygraph, and the FBI retired polygrapher. He's an expert and he's a member of the American Polygraphers Association. He's a world recognized expert. He's worked on tons of criminal cases. Worked for a lot of high profile lawyers on the West Coast. I'll get us both to do a polygraph. So you have 2 shots, and then we'll both tell what our results are. Because I haven't been doing it for 25 years like this retired FBI guy. So in fairness to you, we'll do 2 of them, and most likely we will concur on the results. So that would mean it would be impossible for you to pass 2 of them if you were lying.
Okay, so first off, what you have to understand is very simple, all right? What you're proposing to me is an opportunity to prove my detractors wrong, okay?
Absolutely.
That's exactly what this is, all right?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I'm giving it to you. And by the way, by my own expense, I'm going to pay for the other polygrapher. I'm going to pay for the flight, the hotel. I'll pay for my meals. You don't have to pay for anything. I'm going to pay for it all.
Allow me to respond, because you're not letting me respond.
Oh,
Allow me
go
to
ahead.
respond properly to it, okay?
All right.
My viewers, my supporters, the people who actually like me, who are on my streams every day, who watch my content, who support me via all these contributions, right? Don't give 2 flaming shits about anything that my detractors have issue with me.
But wouldn't it be good to just turn the page and never have to answer any of these questions again after you pass a polygraph?
Let me finish the answer, because here's the second half of the answer here. The detractors that I have, all right, have found a financial incentive to never be satisfied by any answer I ever give, by anything.
Even if you pass a polygraph?
Even if I passed a polygraph, even if right now I opened up my bank account to show you all the information, even if I showed you every possible thing to clear up anything they've ever said about me, they wouldn't care. Because they'd immediately pivot to the next thing they don't like, the next thing they can over dramatize, the next thing they can make drama out of.
But don't you think the people that are in your corner would say, like, look, he passed a polygraph. Those bank leaks weren't his spending. This isn't an issue anymore.
The people that are in my corner and don't care.
You would think that the guy who constantly claims that his detractors make shit up, or claims that the very real looking and sounding bank leaks are definitely not his, would want to do something to prove that he was right and was telling the truth. But Phil won't do that because he knows he's lying about all this stuff. And it's especially suspicious because Steven is even willing to cover all of the costs needed for this to happen. The plane tickets to Renton, a hotel for them to do the test in, the second polygrapher, food, everything. Yet Phil still claims that he won't do it because he'd get nothing from it, which is just the opposite. If he did the 2 polygraphs and was found to be telling the truth on everything, not only would that prove that Phil was telling the truth the whole time and that all of the detractors were lying and making shit up, but it would also let his donators know that their money is being used for the stuff that he says that they're being used for. If he was actually telling the truth, he would have so much to gain. But because he lies about everything, he only has everything to lose. His donors, whatever shred of credibility he has left, all of that. He knows this, and that is exactly why he refuses to do so, because Phil is just a massive fucking liar. The main thing that Steven tries to talk to Phil about are some bank leaks that came out that are allegedly, and by that I mean they definitely are, Phil's bank records. Steven shows Phil multiple sets of how and why these bank leaks are real, with very solid bits of circumstantial evidence. He even explains that in order for someone to fake these, they'd have to know so much information from what day and time he spent this money at these different businesses to which businesses he spent money at.
I don't believe that you've been honest about the bank leaks. I think you lied about a lot of that because it's in your benefit to lie. You don't want your detractors to know how much you've been spending on gin and wine and DoorDash and a WWE game.
Why would it matter?
Oh, let's get to the bank leaks, especially. You say they're fake.
Hold
but
on.
Phil,
Why would it
in
matter?
order for them to be fake, the person that faked them would have to know what kind of car you drive, who your internet service provider is, who your electric company was, who your garbage company was, what their monthly charge was at the time of the bank leaks for people living in your area at the time of those leaks. They'd have to know what restaurants you eat at and when you ate at them. They'd have to know when and where your wife gets haircuts. They'd have to know what your local water company was and what you pay them every month. They'd have to know when you go to Burger King. They'd have to know when you go out to eat, when you do DoorDash, when and where you go grocery shopping, how much your back tax payments are, what your mortgage company is and how much you pay that every month, how much you're making on YouTube. They'd have to know how much you're making on Twitch, what accounting firm you use, and what they're charging you. The odds of somebody knowing all that information, it's like it would take a 007 CIA operative to fake these. Phil, you don't see that. Do you understand that there's direct correlation? You say I went to Burger King and the Burger King charge is there on that day or the day before. You say, I'm getting a haircut. 8 times somebody caught you saying you're getting a haircut, and those haircuts are on the bank leaks.
There's just way too many coincidences for these to be fake, but Phil continues to deny every claim. There was even a point where Steven pulled up a video that showed Phil talking about multiple times when he got a haircut, followed by a charge recorded in the bank leaks for, you guessed it, a haircut within 2 or 3 days of when he mentioned a haircut in some way.
You don't want to address the correlation. There's 20, 30 of them where you talked about something and it's on the bank leaks. It's on the bank leaks.
Which we can't verify are real.
You talked about 8 haircuts and 8 times it's on the bank leaks. Let's get into this.
Since we have a control, that being Phil's hair, we can see if Phil got a trim around the times in which beauty and personal hygiene were logged.
Steve,
the oldest entry is October 14th, 2020.
You're wasting your time.
If you're unfamiliar with the banking industry, sometimes the charge will post and clear the same day, or it may take 1 to 3 days. So, anyway, using PigPigGo, I found this from October 12th.
Oh my god. At the same time, I gotta go grocery shopping. We have appointments we have to get to. I'll enjoy the haircut. I'm gonna get a haircut.
Oh, I'm gonna get a haircut.
Just starting to get long.
This implies the day off was tomorrow, October 13th, and the charge cleared October 14th. We have a total of 8 haircuts in the leaks. So far, we're 1 of 8.
Now that the headphones are off, you probably can't see it that well. I got a very close haircut all around the sides and the back. The top's still kind of long.
And lastly, August 18th, and here is Phil on August 18th.
A lot of people are noticing my shorter haircut, which is very comfy, by the way.
There's another
Perfect
one.
time for it.
Matches the bank
here. I want to cool down. It's been so hot recently.
Based on this data, from a logical standpoint, it appears that those beauty charges coincide with every day that Phil got his haircut.
Hell, Steven even shows off a picture from a haircut place called Curls and Twirls, which has a picture of Kat. And even though the angle is a bit weird, it's pretty clearly her. Steven also talked about the phone call that was used to get these bank leaks, and from what he says about this, it's very hard to fake this as well.
You know where those leaks came from, right? They came from an audio recording of somebody who socially engineered on their telephone basically calling an online teller at your bank and listing off all of the charges for that whole 18-month period. And here's what I found out in the course of my investigation. Let's just take a listen.
September 13th, a pre-authorized payment of $120.27 from Comcast. On September 13th, a pre-authorized payment of $112.28 from Apple iTunes. on September 3rd.
All right, so it's enough to say that somebody sat on a telephone for 5 hours. Now, I went through the first 5 hours of it. It matches the bank leaks 100%. And I also contacted the bank. This is the online teller at the time. That's the voice they use. So for somebody to fake this, they would have to have the software development kit for the telephony for this bank software and the text to speech that's used in this. They'd need the software development kit. Do you know what that costs?
No, I don't know what that costs.
It costs tens of thousands of dollars. Somebody would have had to spend tens of thousands of dollars to fake this 5-hour phone call with your online bank teller.
Of course, though, Phil still denies it and tries to make it out like just because Steven didn't commit a crime to listen to the call himself, then there's no evidence that is real. That quite literally makes zero sense, as Broside Phil mentions a little later on.
Broside, did you actually call in and hear this message yourself?
I confirmed with the bank that
Hold on.
That's their teller.
Hold on. I listened to the recording. If that's what I listened to.
No, hold on. Okay, and the recording from where? Was it on Kiwi Farms?
It was.
So you're telling me that you 100% have evidence that it's real, is what you're saying?
I had.
Oh, here we go again.
Hold on.
Going anywhere.
Hold on.
I'm making.
No.
There's
Let him have his point. I can tell you that based on what was listed off, so on and so forth, I'd give a 75% chance that would be accepted to a courtroom standard. Okay, I can't say 100%, but I'll give you a 75% chance that those logs would be accepted, even if stolen / federal crime, whatever. Those would be accepted to a courtroom standard. Now, based on what your streams say, the 8 haircuts, that was what I did. I would say that to a courtroom standard, that is beyond a reasonable doubt. And what's great is in civil suit, it doesn't even need reasonable doubt. It needs greater than 51%. You would be taken because it's beyond 51%. You want to go beyond reasonable doubt, it's like 75 to 90%. But you want to talk about civil suit, that you're done. You're done.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but Broside Phil shows up during this. So something I didn't know until I watched this interview was that Broside Phil was a retired police officer. And from what I can tell, having that under your belt allows you to not only have good information about how police reports and investigations work, but also a way to talk to those officers who do the reports and investigations. Basically, Phil had talked to the police at some point, most likely about the bank leaks, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And Phil claims that the officer told him that they only investigate human trafficking, which, by the way, he claimed to have filed a police report regarding his account being compromised, despite the fact that the bank not only would have already done so, but they are legally required to do so.
You said in the Side Scrollers interview that sometime prior to the bank leaks, you didn't file a police report. By the way, your bank would have. Did you know my wife, I mentioned she was an accountant. Do you know what she did? She worked in the fraud department at Beneficial Savings Bank for 20 years. And she told me that you, Phil, said that these people got access to multiple of your accounts. The bank itself is required by federal law and banking regulations to file a police report. Our retired law enforcement officer friend filed the FOIAs. The bank didn't file any fraud reports. They're required by law to do so. So if you talk to the bank, if you talk to the bank and said somebody got access to my account illegally, they would have filed the appropriate police reports, talked to the detectives, and followed up on that.
Steve, I'm asking you. You were just mentioning. You said if there's fraud involved with the bank account, the company is required to file a police report about the fraud with the bank account, correct?
Yeah. So I think you never reported any of this to your bank. You just got a new bank account and moved on. That's what I believe.
So you're saying I manually closed the bank account. And
I don't know what happened. I know that if you would have reported fraud to your bank, they were required by federal banking regulations and federal law to fill out police reports and open a fraud investigation.
Broside Phil talked to an officer who is most likely on the same case, but because DSP mentions it was a male officer, Phil immediately thinks he won because the officer he claims he talked to was a female. But I'm understandably doubtful about that.
So I called the detective because the detective's name was in the police report. And when I spoke to the detective...
By the way, that call's recorded, Phil. We have the receipt.
I have the recording. When I spoke to the detective, The detective remembered Phil. Lickety split. He goes, no, I remember him. Yeah, for sure. I said, great. Here's what I have.
Wait.
And I
The detective I talked to was a woman.
Okay, well, the detective, according to, and I have the narrative affidavits, was a detective Steve. I have the narrative affidavits.
I spoke
was
to
a detective. The narrative affidavits.
I don't care about your narrative.
The narrative affidavits, which is recorded by law. He remembered you when he spoke with you. 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 He asked you.
While BSP is talking, he leaves to grab a piece of paper. Not really sure what kind because he doesn't mention what it is, but I can only assume it has something to do with a report. Phil asks for the number on the report, and BSP tells him the number, and Phil confirms that it's the same case number, 21-532. Then he asked what the name for the person in charge was, and this time the names are different.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna go
that
look
you
for a
don't
piece of
work.
paper. Can you
that
keep
you
talking?
don't.
And I'm gonna look
That
for a
you.
piece of paper. I'll be right
That
back.
you don't
I'm going
work
right here.
anything.
Lying to the side scroller
Okay,
guys.
now stop. No, stop
listen,
playing
I
the
have
video
contacted
because
the
I
police.
have something to say.
All
What's
right.
the case? What's the case number?
Stand by, please. I have that up. Stand by.
He'll get it.
21-532.
That's correct. That is the case number.
I know it is.
And what is the name of the person who you think was responsible for this case?
The investigator that I spoke with was Detective. Stand by, please. Christopher Edwards.
That is not the person who I spoke with. I have completely different information here, and it was a woman.
Now, very quite obviously, I'm not a cop or detective, but something I feel like I can safely assume is that the officer who writes up the report isn't always the same officer that talks to the person who's filing it, especially if there's more than one officer on the case. So while Phil may have talked to a different officer than who BSP describes, another officer who was in charge of it may have reported it. But that's not why I'm doubtful that DSP is telling the truth about who he talked to. They tried to ask Phil who the officer he claims he talked to was, and he immediately comes up with the excuse of, I don't want them to get harassed.
Great. Who's that person? I'll happily call them.
What's her name? We'll call them and verify.
I'm not going to say it publicly. I can give it to you.
Oh, come on, Phil, with the obfuscation again. Isn't it convenient? Every time pressed for receipts, you don't have one.
I have.
We've got a mountain of receipts here, Phil. You don't have any receipts. You have excuses.
Do you really want this person to be publicly harassed? That's why I'm going to give it to you.
She's a police officer. I think she could take it.
Honestly, I don't think I need to say anything else, and I rest my case, Your Honor. So after about 3 hours, by the way, Phil claimed he only agreed to be on the interview for 90 minutes, yet stayed on for 2 times as long as that, of Phil getting berated and exposed, he ran off with the excuse of needing to hang out with his wife. This whole interview just showcased that no matter how many receipts are being shown or how damning the evidence against Phil is, he will just continue to lie and make excuses. It also just shows that even when given a chance to redeem himself or come clean about something, he would rather just suffer. Think of Phil like Elsa Schneider from Indiana Jones in Last Crusade. No, not because she was a Nazi, but because Indy, who of course could be a stand-in for Broside Phil, Steven, the casino guys, etc., tries to help Elsa, a stand-in for Phil, and keep her from falling to her death. She, of course, chose to still reach for the Holy Grail instead and falls into the pit. Basically what I'm saying is, Phil would rather let his channel die than just let go of his ego and admit he was wrong. Speaking of Phil's ego, let's go ahead and revisit a topic from the last video. How fucking dog shit he is at video games. Now, obviously it's no secret that he's bad at games, or just everything in general, but I didn't really cover that many games in the first video. I think the most I covered was Call of Duty, a little bit of Street Fighter, and a few examples from other games, but this time around I'd like to focus on more of those other games, a new game I am actually more familiar with, and even revisiting Phil's Street Fighter gameplay with some help. So I want to go ahead and start out with the fact that he has rage quit over 125 different games, including multiple kids games. Normally I would say that I wish I was joking, but I think at this point you know I'm not. Also, by the way, I'm not insulting these games when I say that they're kids games. I literally just mean that they are games a child can easily understand and grasp the concept of to play, aka something Phil is barely capable of doing. Back in 2022, Kirby and the Forgotten Land had come out, and Phil decided to play it for his chill streams after saying that it would be super easy.
I'm intrigued because I have not played a Kirby game in so long that maybe this would actually be something really good for variety on my streams. At the very same time that I say that, Kirby games are usually incredibly easy. They have barely any challenge to them, okay? So it's more like, oh, if I play this as like a late night chill stream, maybe some people would like it, but I really don't think this is going to be anything that's going to be mainstream material, but it's still a maybe for me.
Throughout his playthrough, he constantly shows his epic gamer skills, from not being able to complete minigames involving matching.
Oh boy, lunch rush. Whoa, this is hard! Yo, no! Oh! Oh my, this is so hard, yo. This is ridiculous. No! I'm never gonna be able to do this. Oh no! Oh, no! Yo, this is ridiculously hard.
To doing the same thing 4 times in a row and falling to his death every single time he does.
Oh no! 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 No!
Honestly, it's a wonder he didn't rage quit earlier than he did. Phil somehow made it to the final boss and lost to it multiple times, mostly due to him being incompetent and either not dodging or running right into attacks, before eventually comparing it to Dark Souls and dashboarding out of the game.
What? I don't even know what happened. See, this sucks. This is ridiculous. No, I'm done. That's it. I can't get away. I can't get away. There's nothing you can do. Oh, that's fucking bullshit. That is bullshit. There's no way to escape it. Come on. There's no way to escape it. This sucks. This is terrible. I can't. This is garbage. It's literally, dude. It's literally Dark Souls. And now that's it. Instant death. I give up. Fuck this. I'm done. That's it for Kirby. I'm not playing fucking Dark Souls when I'm playing Kirby.
Just one more time, really quickly.
I'm not playing fucking Dark Souls when I'm playing Kirby. Fucking Dark Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls.
Just remember, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a game made for small kids, and they could easily beat it, while Phil feels like it's at the same difficulty as Dark Souls. What's that one line that he said again?
Any moment, I can pick up a controller, and I can play any game at professional level.
But Kirby, surprisingly, isn't the only kids game that he sucks at, because as I mentioned before, he ended up rage/wage quitting Mario Kart World and throwing a huge shitstorm about Nintendo. As is par for the course, nothing is Phil's fault, and it's either lag, invisible items, or the game cheating to fuck him over. He drives into a wall because he doesn't know how to drift.
It's awful. It's really bad lag. I'm serious. Like when you're trying to do stuff, it's insanely laggy. It's like late. That was absolutely terrible.
He's got an excuse. Drives right into another player's bananas. Nothing hit him, or it was an invisible item he couldn't see. Drives in the completely wrong direction.
What's going on? What? What the fuck? What the fuck? What just happened? The game put me in the wrong direction? The game put me in the wrong direction.
The game put him in the wrong direction. Panda Lee leaves him? Surely it couldn't be because he shared an embarrassing story about her having an anxiety attack, which was probably caused by her realizing she moved across the country with some dude almost twice her age in front of a live audience. Holy fuck! Speaking of that clip where he drives in the wrong direction and claims the game cheated him, I kind of want to do a bit of a review of the clips from the Mario Kart game journalist meme, so I'll go ahead and pass that off to Reaction Riley. Okay. Yeah, this is... Hi, I'm Reaction Riley. Happy Halloween. So, yeah, basically I'm just gonna kind of react to this because I was told by Video Riley to look at this real quick, so let me go ahead and...
Oh, that's fair. Car drives right into me.
You drove into the car.
first.
You were, actually. Here, we can rewind. Look. First. Says it right there. Basically, if you're in first place and the blue shell has already locked onto you, you can be in fucking last place and it will still blow you up. That's just how the blue shell works.
What just happened? What? Oh, I was driving straight. The game. I couldn't see. I couldn't see the stage. What was I supposed to do there?
What are you looking at then?
My first win. Can we get some support for my first win in Mario Kart World, baby, on the hardest difficulty? Hell yeah.
It is literally like the fucking... Oh my god, it's Evo. It's Evo all over again. That's all it is. The 4th place win at Evo. Well, anyways, thank you for joining me. This has been Reaction Riley, and this bit is really fucking stupid. And of course, like a lot of the games Phil drops, Mario Kart World was dropped from his lineup because he didn't get enough money tossed at him. But hey, at least the last match he played was, somehow, a win. His second only win since he's been playing the game, mind you. By the way, he complains a lot about how people abuse items in this game and that they only win because they got lucky, yada yada yada. But that's pretty much what Mario Kart has always been. It's a battle of who gets more lucky, and that's kind of why it's fun. Of course though, anytime he gets that same kind of luck, you will never see him complain about it.
No way. I did it! I finally won! I finally fucking won! My second win ever in Knockout Tour. I did it with fucking Coin Collector, whatever the hell it's called. Oh, I did it. Finally. Finally. Oh. Holy shit. Well, I guess if it has to end tonight, that's a hell of a way to end it with my second ever freaking win. And the stream snipers were in the lobby and still couldn't take me down. And Pizza Boy, who's really good, I beat them too. Oh man, that was it. It's done. Item use. 100% item use. Nothing I can do to catch up. And I had it. I was there. I was top 4. Item use at the last minute. Nothing I can do again. Again. Well, at least I made top 8, but still, again, lose again. Why? Item abuse. Not driving skill. Item abuse. Every single time. Every single freaking time. No, ARG, this game is not pure skill whatsoever. There's, like, no skill. I'm serious. Like, you could be a great driver and still lose because everyone gets godlike items who's behind you. It's just busted. Okay, so I just want to talk about one more kid-friendly game and sort of revisit Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and then I'll move on to more skill-heavy games. So after his little blunder of him not knowing how to do a puzzle the smart way, the internet basically jumped him and deservedly made fun of just how dumb he is.
Correct. Posted a clip comparing me to like another streamer in my playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom. I'm surprised so many people like that video. I'm just chilling. Infamous. I see.
That dude, what? He's like so stupid and annoying. Like, how? Why do people watch him? I just didn't understand it. People probably watch him because they're just laughing at him.
Phil Burnell. I put it under Phil Burnell. Okay, he really had to get that maxed out Brock Lesnar, guys. Can you really blame him? Can you really blame him? Speaking of which, I am in massive amounts of debt. Please give me $500,000, and it's definitely not so that I can go max out Oomphy on Genshin Impact. Please. I need to declare bankruptcy because I have no money. And it's not just because I'm a dipshit.
This game is so bugged. So many errors. You guys don't understand how hard I work. You guys don't understand how hard my fingers, my thumb hurts playing this game. And you guys are just sitting there. You're not donating. You're not donating.
And of course, this hurt Philip's pride.
There's people online thought it was funny to clip my playthrough and make fun of it. I'm gonna purposely from now on solve every puzzle in the absolute dumbest way.
But of course, that's not the only example of Phil being bitter that people are more creative and more smart than he is. In one stream, Phil, after failing to make a hoverboard work because he somehow thought that setting it on an incline wouldn't make him fly to the side.
There's no way this is gonna work because I can't activate it now.
went on a mini rant about people who use their creativity to make mechs and other cool things rather than just progress the story.
Hey, see, that's the problem is like, if I don't do it within like a few minutes of trying, I just spent 25 minutes on that. I just don't care anymore. I'm a streamer. I have to make progress. I'm not going to fucking sit here and waste all my time. Like, it's hilarious online. I'm seeing these crazy contracts. Someone built a mech. Someone built a Trojan horse. Someone built all that. That's great. And how many hours did you waste doing that exactly? Right? Like, seriously, how many fucking hours did you waste doing that superfluous nonsense you don't need to do to play the game? And it's great you can do it, but the normal person doesn't have time to just sit here like an idiot and fucking spend 40 hours building your mech.
Like that caption right there said, God forbid someone actually thinks outside the box and has fun in the game they paid for. Personally, I think he's more just jealous that he's too stupid to realize that having a giant metal shield on your back will get you struck by lightning.
Upgrade my stamina when I find a place to upgrade it.
Sheltering myself with a large piece of sheet metal, I ran for cover under the tallest tree I could find.
You're kidding me! Riding full speed, the lightning hones in on you and it hits you? You see, this isn't fun. I'm sorry. Randomly, a glue monster appears, takes all of your health. Oh, you don't have enough stamina to climb something standard at the beginning of the game. Oh, lightning just hones in on you and then kills you. How is this a fun?
Also, speaking of that, he tries to make a point that because he has Zelda pants, he's allowed to call the lightning mechanics bullshit.
These are my Zelda Breath of the Wild pants. Because I'm a fan of goddamn Zelda.
Well, excuse me, princess.
So you all made fun of me. You made fun of me, a 41-year-old gamer on TikTok, and you said I'm a horrible gamer because I don't understand the lightning mechanic of Zelda. But I'm a fan. I have Zelda pants. Do you have Zelda pants? I didn't think so. You don't have Zelda pants. You don't have the right to say that my issues with the lightning are invalid because you're not wearing Zelda pants. I'm insulated from your bullshit.
Yeah, I don't really know. Anyways, to move on to more skill-heavy games, I want to talk about a game that I started recently playing that Phil was just absolute garbage at. Marvel Rivals. Let me just start off by reminding y'all how much pain I felt while watching him play Black Ops 6, because I had a similar experience while watching him play Rivals. Except instead of him being bad at the game in general, I'm in pain because he tried to play Venom, and it was just... ugh.
There you go. Oh, he went in the door. He went in the spawn door. I can't see. I'm dead. I couldn't see. Dude, I had such a crazy good run right there. What? See, it doesn't work. The ability is glitched. It like, doesn't work at all. Oh, they just interrupted my ultimate. They interrupted my ultimate. I did it and nothing happened. Yeah, the slam ability doesn't seem to work right. I try to do it half the time to get spot on a wall or something. Everything else works though.
I found one of our
Where'd she go? Wow. I can't hurt anyone, you notice that? I literally did 0 damage.
Armed and dangerous!
I'm stuck. I got stuck on the stairs. Nice to get someone healing me. Don't we have any fucking healers?
We are undefeatable! Area. Keep going.
Maximum pulse!
No one healed me at all.
We are undefeatable!
Tried to slam, nothing happened. can't kill her. Yo, the entire time all I do is hit Mantis, she doesn't die. So we lost. Great.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Well, that's a useful swing. Gee, look where it put me. I can't move. I'm not even kidding, I'm glitched. I was stuck out there. Stuck, I'm dead. I got stuck in the wall.
Every time I watched him dive into no one and then complain that his dive did nothing, it just makes my heart hurt a bit and makes me want to drink. Except, you know, I don't because I'm not an alcoholic. Somebody, please save my man from this trash-ass player, please! Outside of torturing me by playing a character I like, Phil is also just bad at every character. Shocking, I know. But do y'all remember when I mentioned in the last video that he makes meta/strong weapons in Black Ops 6 look weak? That applies to this as well. Obviously, I can get how you could be bad at Hawkeye since he has a higher skill ceiling and requires good aim to do well, something Phil can't do 90% of the time.
I can't do anything to Spider-Man, he's too fast. You have to be a tank to beat Spider-Man because he's just so quick, you have to be able to, like, survive all his damage. Oh, come on.
Needed that boost.
Oh my gosh, she killed me from behind. I couldn't even do anything.
But how in the fuck are you bad at Scarlet Witch?
She finally killed me. Damn. No, I haven't tried ranked because I'm trying different characters and trying to learn how to play with them. I'm not gonna do ranked until I pick like mains that I want to get better with. Why was the whole enemy team in the room with me? What happened? They all came in, look. Damn, at least I did kill one or two of them. I don't know how many, I couldn't tell. I got the health, I died anyway. Ultimate insta-kill, damn. It did nothing, they all backed away. God damn it.
Her gameplay is literally just hold mouse 1 or right trigger and you get a kill, and Phil is still somehow terrible at that. He literally picked a character where you don't even have to aim most of the time, and Phil still finds a way to play like shit. And of course, as I'm sure you've noticed a couple of times, Phil likes to blame his healers for a good chunk of his deaths. I'm not really sure what your healers are supposed to do when you're actively running away from them, dumbass. If you want heals, which you were already getting, mind you, be somewhere where the supports can see you. This is the optimal spot and method for receiving heals, and this is not. Phil, of course, rage quit this game mid-stream after getting Morbius and getting told that if he played it again, his viewers would donate.
Dude, I don't even know what's going on tonight. All right, I got a $2 tip talking about Reed Richards' dick, so I'm not going to read that. Literally, I got 3 troll super chats earlier, so I'm not reading those. Abdullah did a $1 super chat and says, go play Black Ops 6, and then Sean's a super chat and insults me. How about besides Abdullah, the rest of you all go fuck yourselves with your $1 tips all insulting shit. And by the way, I've now been playing this for an hour and literally have gotten no support at all. And the whole idea was that you guys yelled at me for 2 weeks to play this game. So now I'm playing it and no one is supporting the stream. Literally 3 troll super chats, a troll tip, another troll super chat, and then Abdullah saying go play Black Ops 6. Is this what I should expect when I play Marvel Rivals? Because if that's the case, I'm just going to close the game right now. If that's the level of what I'm going to get, I'm just going to say fuck this game. Because this is even worse than the last time I played it. All right. Well, it's this simple. I played for an hour. Literally, I've got 3 troll super chats and Abdullah. So I think I'm just done with this fucking game. I think I've had enough because I already told you guys I wasn't going to play it again unless people cared, and no one cares. You want to know? Literally, more than half the chat is trolls just sitting here talking shit. All right? Some people are trying to help, but then everyone's just complaining. Literally, oh, you don't know, you're playing it wrong. You're never, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck are you talking about? How am I playing it wrong? You know, I'm really, it pisses me off because I like it, and it sucks that I just can't play games that I like because I gotta only play the things that people seem to want specifically. I can't just play a game anymore. So fuck this game. Not wasting time on it. I'm not wasting time on it. No one wants to see it, then I'm not gonna fucking sit here and play it. So I'll tell you right now, don't ever ask me to play that game ever again. Everyone who ever asked for it will get an insta-ban. Since you want to act like that and you want to play like that. Right? So fuck that shit.
And yes, you did hear that right. Phil wage quit this game twice! But yeah, that's really all I have to say on Marvel Rivals because he was genuinely so bad with every single character he played. And yeah, I know that in order to get good at a character, you kind of have to learn them first, but like, come on, this is Phil we're talking about. You really think he's gonna take the time to learn? He would have either begged his chat to hold his hand through the entire learning process or just rage quit the game. So remember how I mentioned in the last video that I didn't really know that much about Street Fighter? Well, I wanted to touch up more on just how garbage his Street Fighter gameplay is, and this time, I came a little bit more prepared. Just like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars, I'm calling in the expert. She even had me join a call after I uploaded the original video on Phil, and gave me the specs about just how terrible he is at the game. So, without further ado, here's Kunai with sports.
We interrupt this program.
You are now listening to Makarosu 8299.
The salt that we're mining today is 400 million years old.
Battletoads on Nintendo. Now don't worry, it's a good game. It's actually one of the most memorable games in the NES library. But when it first came out, a lot of people were thinking, what is this, a cheap Ninja Turtles knockoff or something? But it was actually pretty good. Who the fuck are you?
And now for something completely different.
So, originally, I was going to show the video and live dub over it, or not live dub over it, but do a voiceover, but I'm just going to live dub over it for the sake of clarity, or easiness, I should say.
I tried. When I saw it coming out, I tried to fucking duck. The game refuses to duck because I'm playing online.
First off, Phil is complaining about, you know, the game refuses to duck because I'm playing online. I am convinced at this point that his TV has some sort of input delay to where whenever he does something or whenever he sees something, it comes in late through his, but also his TV's on the other side of his room and his setup for some fucking reason, so what do I know?
Instant grab. Wow, what a great fucking player. What a great fucking player. I ducked the fucking move. It literally never ducks. Never. Not once does it duck that move online.
If you don't shut the fuck up, I'm just gonna ban you right now and you're never coming back.
Also, like how Phil's getting mad over somebody donating to him. Like,
I mean it, so shut the fuck up. You're being an idiot.
so the Cammy he's facing here is NY Chris G, who is known for playing tag fighters like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but he's playing Street Fighter 6 because I think this is right after it came out. So a lot of people that were playing fighting games were playing Street Fighter 6.
Right.
So usually whenever you're watching like a Phil stream, it's covering his webcam or it's covered by his webcam. Look for like punish counter or counter. You can see this in Street Fighter 6, you know, Capcom vs. SNK 2. Any fighting game he plays, a lot of the time he'll complain about getting hit when he wasn't doing anything, and then it'll show like counter either here or here depending on what side he's on.
Right.
Yeah, like that punish counter.
Why am I getting thrown easily?
I don't know, Phil, maybe because you're not breaking the throw. Something that you can do to stop throws in Street Fighter 6 is literally just throw them in return and it'll break the throw. Phil does not do this, ever. I think if you watch literally any of those fighting game content now, he still doesn't do it. I don't know why, but, you know, if you're getting thrown over and over again, just break the throw.
I tried to break it.
Another throw? Well, he tried to break it, but if you watch the inputs that I showed earlier, the channel that goes over Phil's inputs while he's playing the game, this is like, I don't even know how old, so I'm not going to go back to look at his inputs for this game. Also, I don't want to watch more Phil than I have to. So typically whenever he does like a reaction command and he says, I tried to do it, usually he does it late. Good throw.
No skill. Literal no skill. Just jive kick the entire fucking round.
If they're doing the same thing over and over again, you should be able to learn what they're doing and then punish it. It's called conditioning, where you do the same thing over and over again. So whenever they start to react and punish it, you start doing other things to where now it's a mix-up for them. Like instead of dive kicking, they would empty jump and maybe low. So, to where they try to bait the dive kick, they'll get hit by the low anyway, or try to block the dive kick. Phil does not do this. Phil will get hit by the same thing over and over again, and then just refuse to adapt.
Throw. Wow. Wow! I pressed the button on fight. Oh, punish him horribly. Entire fucking round and throw. Wow.
The fuck is he even on about here? Okay, so Cammy jumps in. Phil throws out a button. Cammy's all the way up here. There's no way that Phil's hitting this Cammy. And then he gets hit with a punish counter because he is actively in a move, and Cammy hit him out of it.
Wow! I pressed the button on fight. Oh, punish him horribly.
He didn't even get hit for that hard. They didn't even combo into it. Cammy is in Burnout here. So what Burnout is, instead of having EX moves take away from your meter, like they do in previous Street Fighters, it takes out of your gauge drive. Or drive gauge, I got that backwards, my bad. Usually, whenever they're in drive gauge, they take chip damage, and they will get wall splatted and then stunned if you do the... I'm trying to think of the word. If you do the overdrive into them, or whatever it's called. Drive reversal, I think. No, drive reversal, something else.
No 360. No 360. No 360.
So Phil tries just to do a 360 here, and I think it's 360 forward, and he gets a back jump.
No 360.
And it complains that he doesn't get a 360. That's what it gives me, not I misinputted. It's the game's fault.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so he tries to parry here, which is a good attempt to counter, but gets thrown out of it.
Wow, yay.
Hold on, go back further. So Kami does this into a low, and then Phil does, I think, level 2 as a reversal. And then because Kami is in a low committal, low frame move, and Phil does a level 2, even as a reversal, I think Zangief's level 2 is still really slow on startup.
He got to block. I did it perfect.
Let's see, she gets chip damage because she's in burnout.
Counter. Perfect counter to her fucking spam move. It hits me anyway.
If it was the perfect counter, then it would have hit her. Also, a thing about Street Fighter 6 is that there's no air block like there is in Guilty Gear or other anime fighters. So whenever they're doing a jump in like that, Phil can just anti-air them, but he doesn't.
What the fuck?
What are you complaining about here?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Okay, so that just completely whiffs, and then Phil complains about it whiffing. Like, Kami was nowhere near that. So if I can get it on the frame. Yeah. Kami's nowhere near that.
What the fuck?
So Phil tries to do, I think, like level 3 or something here. And gets hit with a counter. I think he may have died to chip anyway because he's in burnout, and I'm not sure if level 3 for Kami does that much chip to where it would have just killed him. But still, like, it's not a terrible match at all. But yeah, sure, can't do anything.
Her. Fuck this game.
So, a point on this. Whenever Phil plays a character or a player that he doesn't like, he will one and done them. But if he gets one and done, he will call them a pussy, a bad player. You started to get countered, so that's why you ran. It's a very double negative kind of thing, where if I do it, it's okay. If you do it, you're a pussy.
Literal terrible player. Another one.
Terrible player, but is like placing in really high rankings, even winning some tournaments.
Another terrible Kami. 12 win streak, playing pattern.
12 win streak, but they're a terrible player. Pattern player. So the reason why I have an issue with whenever Phil says this is because there's a thing in fighting games called B&Bs, or bread and butter combos. Basically, what you want to do in almost any situation. This is what this is what most fighting game players do, is that they'll do their B&B in any situation they can. It's the most optimal, or it's the most safe. It comes down, especially if they're quote-unquote like pattern play, you would think because Phil faces so many Kamis by now, he would know how to counter that pattern play, but I guess not. Oh, he also says that rollback netcode encourages you to jab because it'll just give you the jab. That's not how rollback works.
Fucking suck. Jordan, thank you for 5 more gifted memberships to the community. Congrats to the people who got them. I can't see. Yeah, I'm not having a good night because, again, what did I say was going to happen? They're just going to throw every top tier. It's literally...
You're playing a competitive game. Of course, you're going to face top tiers. Like, I get it's annoying, but whenever you're playing a game like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear, or even like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, or Valorant, League of Legends, literally any game with an objective good and bad character tier list, you're going to face people that only use good characters because they're good. And then you're also going to face people that play those characters because they like those characters. Like, personally, I play Akuma in Street Fighter, not because Akuma's strong, typically, in, like, every game he's in, but because I like Akuma's kit, I like how he plays, and I like the character.
It's literally been a non-stop onslaught of 10s, JPs, fucking camis, and now a DJ. I'm literally fighting every single top tier in a row.
Also, Phil's commentary about tiers isn't good, because whenever Blanca got like Omega buffed in the second or third patch this game, Blanca was arguably like top 3 in the game, and Phil was still complaining that Blanca was low tier.
Wow, that was instant.
That was instant. What do you mean that was instant?
Single top tier in a row.
Drive rush into a throw.
Wow, that was instant.
Alright, so yeah, I did this segment in Street Fighter, and I'm re-recording it now because I wanted to make this a little bit more concise. Articulate my points a little bit better, and, you know, not lab for 30 fucking minutes after I'm done. So, about B&Bs and adaptability in fighting games. B&Bs are something that you will always do. Like, most characters in this can get away with, like, slash heavy slash into, like, a special move. Something like that. And, you know, pattern play, it's what most people do in fighting games. And something you really need to get good at in fighting games is adaptability, because that's part of, like, the mind game in fighting games. Is if I start doing something over and over again, like, let's say I'm doing, like, a knockdown, do sweep, and then running up, grabbing, right? Do it again, run up, sweep, grab. So you might start, you know, breaking the grab. So instead of running up, sweeping, and then grabbing, you might start blocking the low, I'll start hitting you overhead. You might start, you know, teching the throw. So instead of sweeping into grab, I can sweep and then just do something else. I can actually time it right. Damn, twice. Yeah, do something like that. Or something like that. You know, I can condition you to expect a grab after every time I sweep. And then whenever you start taking those grabs, I'll start doing something else. Or like overheading, so you expect like a low. Or if I keep overheading you, you might start blocking overhead, so I'll just empty jump low. It's part of the mind game, it's called conditioning, it's what, like, a big part of fighting games is. But Phil does not do this. Phil would rather, you know, complain that he's getting grabbed and that you keep hitting him overhead and then just not block it. Damn. So, like, he's not going to improve because he's not willing to admit what he's doing is wrong, basically. He's not willing to admit fault. And he does that a lot. So he's just not going to get better at fighting games. He may say that he's the EVA champ because he played a bad version of Street Fighter. But, you know, watch any of his fighting game streams and he gets, like, absolutely destroyed. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Thanks, Kunai. Now, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cut to the next segment, because I feel like if I discuss every single game he's bad at, this video will literally be a year long. Before I end this segment though, I would like to say one more thing regarding the wage quitting. Phil seems to think that people not donating to the stream is entirely on the game, which is just not true whatsoever. Personally, and this of course could just be a biased opinion, I think it's actually because Phil himself is not entertaining. When he's not whining about the game itself, making dumbass sounds like the child entertainer he says he's not, or begging for money, Phil is just completely radio silent with a look on his face that I can't really describe, but it's definitely not joy. In a recent stream where he played, and wage quit, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, Phil mentioned how he wanted to play this and was having fun.
Alright, well guys, it's this simple. We're 35 minutes into the stream, we didn't have a single person contribute and pick a racer. I'm just done with the game. I'm serious. No one cares about this game. It's a fail. Basically, there was hype for Mario Kart earlier this year because there hasn't been a Mario Kart, a new one, in like 10 years. People said to buy this as the replacement. I did. No one cares about this game. It's dead. No one's talking about it. You guys aren't showing up and supporting it. I give up. I gave it a try as a night stream. Literally, we can't get one person to pick a racer. Forget it. All right? Sorry, I tried my best. Really, I did. I'm trying to learn it and entertain and, having a good time with it, but you guys don't like it. It's not me. I like it. I would keep playing it and learn the characters. No one seems to give a shit. So, it's a bust. It sucks that we only got, 3 streams out of it in half an hour, but you guys obviously don't care about it.
But when you look at his gameplay, it doesn't really seem like it.
Yeah, see, he dodged. How did he dodge the item? I have no idea. I threw the item at him and he dodged it. So the item was completely worthless. What happened? I can't control my car. I couldn't control the car. It wouldn't let me control it at all. It was like my button didn't work. Why didn't he get hit? I don't understand that punch at all. 7. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, honestly. Wow. I feel like I drove pretty solid. I never went off the track. I really only got hit by items, which you can't avoid. And I think I did horribly, right? Like, I don't even get it. I was in like 6th the whole race and could never catch up to anybody. I don't know what's going on. I can't control my character, so... Great. 11th out of nowhere. I don't even know what happened. Great, dude, what the fuck? There's nothing I can do about that. Oh, shit. Well, you couldn't even see it. Oh, this is stupid. What a dumb track. I can't see, dude. I'm too big. Oh, my God. It's impossible to play with him. It literally is impossible to play with this character. I can't fucking see the track. Look. I can't ever see the wall to know when to power slide because he blocks everything. He's a fat ass. What the fuck? What the... Wow. Okay. Whoa, again, dude. I can't make the corners with this character. He's the worst. Big is the worst character in the game by far. Whoa, why did I just get hit by a bunch of vehicles at once? When the holy hell was that? Yeah, this is dumb. I was in 4th, no problem. A ridiculous amount of vehicles all spit up out of nowhere and hit me and crushed me. Now I'm in 9th and I can't catch up. Look at this! I can't, dude! Are you kidding? That's insane. The game glitched and drove me in the wrong direction. I couldn't stop my car. Dude, again, there's no way for my class to take that turn. When I hit it at that speed, there's no way to not fall off the track. So now I'm in last. Wow.
Also, I like the fact that he complained that luck was a very big factor in Mario Kart World, but then he plays a game where skill is needed a bit more, and suddenly it's not fair that the game doesn't hold his hand after driving off the map twice.
Stupid robot, I walked right into it. Oh, what? I didn't even know that could happen. Well, now I'm in last. Great. I had no idea that could happen. What? Dude, I just cannot handle this, this hoverboard with Sage. So at the beginning, I fell off the map once, and there was no chance to ever catch up whatsoever. What was that? And they never gave me a good item. Despite being in last place, I got no good items till the end when it was too late. That was an awful start.
So this one's going to be a bit more short because I only really had 2 things I wanted to bring up because, I mean, they're both pretty good examples of how hypocritical he is. What I want to bring up is the low tier god versus Phil thing again, because while watching the TruthSeekers interview, I heard Phil bring something up. So you remember how Phil was bitching about Low Tier God wanting $5,000 to fight him in Street Fighter? Well, on the TruthSeekers interview, Stephen Cambion wanted to push Phil into doing a polygraph test, which I talked about earlier. But even though Stephen offered to pay for everything involving the test, Phil stated that he needed an incentive to do so.
Okay.
The only way I will do it is if it actually benefits me. And it disproving my detractors does not benefit me in any way. If this is going to happen, okay, if this is going to happen, I need to have actual real incentive for it to happen. It's that simple.
Oh, so in other words, you want me to pay you to take a polygraph to prove your innocence and help you prove your innocence?
There has to be incentive.
I'm already paying for it. You know what? It's going to be a couple $1,000s for me to get a plane ticket, hotel, meals, whatever, and pay the other polygrapher. It's going to be a couple $1,000 just for that. You want, you know, I'm not. I even if I put it on a monetized video when we're done, I don't think I'll recoup that. Now you want me to pay you on top of it? That's a little much.
It's your idea, and you're the one asking to do it, not me.
All right.
So why exactly did you throw such a bitch fit over Low Tier God asking for the same thing, Phil? It's your idea, Phil. You're the one asking to do it, not Low Tier God. Hell, now that I think about it, I did just get reminded of the time that Keemstar wanted you to appear on his LOLcow live show, but let's see, why did you turn that down again?
What I'd like to do is I would make an offer that I will appear on his LOLcow podcast.
Like, whoa.
For a very small contribution to the King's coffers of $50,000. If you would like to pay me $50,000 to appear on his show for a 2-hour segment, I will appear on his show for 2 hours for $50,000. And no, this is not a joke. 50 grand, and I will appear on his show. Now I'm actually making a real public offer that's actually, you know, not bullshit, all right? 50 grand, and I will come on your show for 2 hours, and we will talk about whatever. I mean, don't expect me to be doing any kind of crazy shit, but since you're so desperate to have the King on your show, I mean, literally, you've talked about me like every fucking show, pretty much. I mean, you had entire episodes dedicated to me. It only seems fair that the King should be collecting his tithes and taxes, right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, 50 grand, and I'll go on the LOLcow show for 2 hours, one live show, and we'll do whatever. And by the way, I'll say this too, no counter offers. It's either you accept the offers or nothing. There's no counter offer. We're not going to negotiate. This is, now you're in the King's court, you understand? I hold the cards now. I control the situation, not you. I have all the power here, not you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You needed an incentive to do so. You needed a reason other than people want to see it in order to do so. So you refused to do so. That's a bit weird how that works, huh, Philip? So quick note, this next one is going to seem a bit misplaced at first, but trust me, it does belong in this section. So on one stream for a DSP Tries It, Phil did a Shake Shack review where he had fries, a chicken sandwich, a burger, and a bacon cheddar hot dog. Or it was supposed to be anyways. Instead of a bacon cheddar hot dog, Phil ended up getting just a plain hot dog, much to his own dismay.
A bacon and cheddar and regular American cheese hot dog. Guess what? They gave me a plain hot dog. That is incorrect. That is not what I ordered. Wrong. So I paid way extra. The standard hot dog is $5. The bacon and cheese hot dog is $9 and change. And they gave me the wrong hot dog entirely. And that's it. So if someone was like, oh, did they put the toppings for your hot dog on the side? No, they're just not there. They completely ripped me off. That's almost $5 that they cheated me out of because they didn't give me the bacon and the cheese. And there's supposed to be two kinds. Supposed to be cheddar, American, and bacon on there. So now I got a plain hot dog, which is, I'm not too happy about that, to be honest with you. Okay. So for the record, this is $5 if you order a plain hot dog from them. The one with bacon and cheese is $9 and change. Well, guess what? I didn't get any of that. So I'm eating a $5 hot dog that I paid $10 for. Great.
That must suck, Phil. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be scammed out of something you paid for. It would suck so much if you paid someone money to deliver something they promised, only for them to not deliver what they said. Only for them to not deliver what they said they would. Surely you would never do something like that, ever, right?
I have to lay down the law because something happened a month ago during my Five Nights at Freddy's marathon. Do you guys remember what happened? We had a Five Nights at Freddy's marathon, and within the first couple hours, I had a few shots. Everything was going fine. Then we actually played a bunch of the games. I had food, and pretty much my entire buzz was gone, all right? So the entire, last 2 hours of this marathon, I had no liquor in me, essentially, and I was just normal as we wrapped it up. Then all of a sudden, in the final hour of the marathon, as I was basically wrapping it up and I was trying to do my conclusion to what I thought about the Five Nights at Freddy's series, having played it during the marathon, all of a sudden, an insane amount of support came in. Do you remember? It was like a giant super chat and a giant super chat and a bomb of subs and a giant super chat. And it all hit at once. But here's the problem with that. The marathon was over. So I was like, well, now I owe you guys all these shots. So I was like downing shots. And then the marathon went offline. You guys didn't benefit from that because you didn't get to see it. I'm just going to tell you this right up front. If I'm feeling like I drank too much, I'm going to stop, all right? I don't owe anything. This is not a contract that I am owing you. Like, let's say, for example, today it's my birthday and people are very generous and I raise a bunch of money. That doesn't mean I owe you 20, 30 shots and I'm going to kill myself. So FYI, at the end of the stream, if all of a sudden in the last hour I get a ton of support, don't expect me to grab the blue flame and just chug the whole thing. I'm not going to do that. If you think about this rationally, what would be the best way to go about this? If you're going to support the stream, support it up front or support it slowly over the day. Don't wait till the last minute. Because if you wait till the last minute, guess what? Then I'm not going to be able to drink it all. I'm not going to be able to even pace myself. I can't do 20 shots in the last hour, right? So if you're going to support, do it up front. And I'll start drinking now, and then I'll owe you guys shots. And every once in a while, as I'm getting, I feel it's dying out, I'll take another shot. See what I mean? Do it slowly, safely, fairly, and in a fun way. All right, does that sound good?
No, fuck you.
Also, by the way, in that same stream where he complains about getting scammed out of $4, he scams his viewers again. Fork Fountain Kitchen. Basically, before the stream, Phil had his viewers donate $600 for him to wear his famous Sonic hat during the DSP Tries It that he was also charging for, only to wear it for about 2 minutes before taking it off because it bothered him.
Let's do the hot dog first, and while I'm doing it, let's wear the Sonic the Hedgehog hat that I've worn over the years. I've actually had this hat for like over 12, 13 years, and every once in a while we do a Sonic playthrough and I put the hat on, okay? So here it is. Well, I eat the hot dog today. Well, it really doesn't sit on my head very well, does it? So, Devakian just did a super chat and says, how much did this cost you? I'll tell you each as we eat, okay? Wow, this really doesn't stay on my head well. Let's just eat the hot dog now so I can get it off my head because it's not going to stay on. All right. Now I'm going to get this hat off because it's bothering me. Very good. All right. You got to see Sonic Phil eat a hot dog here today. Okay. Continuing on, I want to try the fries. I'm intrigued if the fries actually are spicy.
So in short, okay, so like originally the tier list looked some kind of like this, but then we reset it and greed and where is it, lust are in the same spots, but now like envy, it's definitely here. Pride is here. Actually, pride is there. Wrath is here. And then sloth is here. And actually, I'd put gluttony right here. And that's how I would do the new one. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And in long, after re-reviewing and revisiting Phil and his antics, I definitely saw some stuff that made me change the order of the 7 deadly sins of DSP. Obviously, some things didn't change like greed or lust because Phil is the greediest person to exist and has still only had that one incident in regards to lust. But some things have definitely changed, like pride and envy, especially after the Strangely Lex arc. Okay, so this was how the original setup was for the original 7 Deadly Sins of Darkside Phil, with greed being the most committed, because obviously, and lust being the least committed, because he only had the one incident that, everyone keeps bringing up. But with this new one, there are definitely some changes. Obviously, greed. Hold on. Obviously, greed will stay in the same kind of lane, just most, because, you know, obviously. And the same thing with lust being, you know, just at the least, because, once again, just the one incident. Now, when it comes to envy, though, I definitely want to say it's right here. I would definitely say it's a bit higher now because of the whole Strangely Lex arc thing. And also kind of the Kino Casino. And speaking of Kino Casino, I definitely want to say his pride has definitely gone up. Absolutely. Because of the whole Kino Casino inflating his ego even more than the 2005 EVO or whatever year it was. I don't even remember at this point. For Wrath, honestly, to be completely honest with y'all, I'd put it on the same level as Envy. Actually, it's a little bit lower than Envy, but it's on like the same kind of like wavelength. I don't really know. I would say it's like on the same kind of tier as Envy, because obviously he was pretty angry and upset that Iron Chef Sakai was actually happy while donating to Lex, so, you know, I would put Sloth probably in the same spot that I did last time, just cause like, well, wait, no, cause he does have his chat hold his hand a lot more, so I'd say here, yeah, because now he's actually like straight up like, I'm not gonna play the game unless chat holds my hand, or he just looks up guides, like especially for Hollow Knight, he's been doing that, and he tries to act like he doesn't. I think this one is gonna move up. Actually, does it even move up? Oh no, it moves down. That's fine. I want to say Gluttony kind of moves down though, because yeah, like while he does do you know, the problem with Dark Side Phil, I do the problem with Dark Side Phil. While he does do DSP tries it, he doesn't do it, but he does drink a lot of fucking alcohol on stream. Ooh, see, that's where it gets... You know what? I'll put it on the same level as Sloth. In the last time, there was no space, like, in between, like, the tiers. Like, there was no, like, gap between Sloth and Lust, or any gap between Pride and Gluttony. Nothing like that. In this one, there's a pretty big gap between Sloth, Gluttony, and then, you know, Lust. He has definitely, like, gotten worse since the last time I talked about him. And that was before I even knew some of the stuff, so... Yeah, that's probably what also influenced my change. I guess we'll just go on to the final thoughts, I guess. I don't think I wrote anything for after this little segment, so... Go on. Final thoughts. Yeah. Also, by the way, yes, this is an actual tier list I made, so, you know, if y'all want to go to it, hey, it's right there. Right there. Y'all can go to it, and y'all can come up with how you would, you know, put it through, so... I would love to see y'all's thoughts on it, honestly. So, what exactly is wrong with Darkside Phil? Well, we can just hear it from Phil himself.
He is a joke. He sucks. He always has, you know? The problem is if you just do it and say, oh, just hand him the money, he won't try. 8 out of 10 streams, he's playing fighting games, and he sucks.
Retard. I'm a bad person.
Pseudo-gay bitch. It's almost like his brain, purposefully, when he's scared, deflects and goes somewhere else. So when someone presents him with something he can't handle, he immediately deflects. His brain is so snapped. There's no logical thought to it. It's just like this weird, bizarre, you know, place.
Disgusting. That's the problem with guys like this content creator. He's not mature. He is out to outright lie to make garbage for the internet that dumb fucks, okay, will believe. Brain dead fucking idiot, a mouth-drooling moron who makes fucking lying videos to make money because you're the lowest form of content creator. You're a hack. You don't deserve the right to put out content like that. You don't. And you're lucky that YouTube allows that kind of fucking trash.
Yeah, sounds about right. In my own words, though, which have definitely changed a bit since the last time, Phil is a lazy, greedy, unhealthy, toxic, fat, creepy, trashy, racist, and just overall shitty human being who has fucked up his own life by being himself and is only relevant because either people try to help him out or people decide to make videos on him showing how he is to the internet. Someone had pointed this out in the comment section of my last video, but basically I said that as as shitty as he is, I would love to see him change. I was not being serious when I said that. Hell, when I wrote that into the script for the first video, I thought about making a bit involving the song Change from Steven Universe, and honestly, I don't remember why I scrapped it. Also, if you're a detractor channel and you're scared of Phil suing you for stealing his content or defamation, I wouldn't really worry that much about it. According to a content creator named Sir Andrew, who is also a lawyer, Phil will most likely never sue any of his detractors because then his finances would become public.
Bob Starsky says, Sir Andrew, DSP believes that he can no longer earn money streaming. He can sue detractors. Will it open up his finances for review? Big ups. Yes, 100%. If DSP sues for defamation, that opens up your personal finances. So that's one of the big reasons not to sue for defamation, is because you don't want your dirty laundry or your finances aired for everybody. I mean, most people don't. They don't want other people to know how much they make or, you know, whatever, how much money they have, or et cetera, et cetera. They don't want to know that. They don't want other people to know that. So that's a massive question before you sue somebody for defamation. People are always yelling and screaming for people to sue for defamation, but there's a lot of reasons not to do it. And that's one of them.
Basically, if Phil were to sue one of his detractors for defamation, not only would everyone know that he 100% lied about the bank leaks and what he spends his money on, but he'd also just straight up lose because, once again, it's Phil. Something I've heard a lot is that you shouldn't keep giving Phil or people like him attention because then they get to keep their relevance, but I feel like there is a slight issue with that. Yeah, by talking about them and giving them attention, it does keep their relevance afloat and more people remember them for longer. However, I think that's actually a good thing, and here's 2 reasons why. The only reason people even know about Phil is because of people like Mighty D or Snort Hogan. If it weren't for Phil's detractors, he would not get as many views or be as well known as he is now, and that has to feel bad for him. His only way of being relevant is because of other people. People only know about him because of his shitty behavior that other people put out on display. And the only thing that is keeping his channel afloat are either people who are constantly shitting on him and calling out his awful behavior, or people who genuinely try to help him but ultimately give up because, once again, it's Phil. Now, if you do stop making videos about Phil, there's a higher chance that people will forget about him, but that's not exactly a good thing. If people forget about Phil or don't even know about him, then Phil can basically do a reset and gain a new audience of people who won't realize that he's a terrible person. Minilad tried to do that, but because there are people who still make videos on him, TJV, and what he did, he can't do a full reset and will never be able to reach the peak that he had before and make a resurgence. By keeping tabs on someone's shitty behavior, it helps make sure new people don't accidentally stumble upon him and fall for his manipulation as easily. But of course, that's just the problem with these terrible people, and that's just the problem with DSP, too. Okay, see, I feel like I pulled that joke off way better this time. Thank you all for watching, and I really do hope you enjoyed this video. This one, like the last video, did take me quite a bit of time to make, while also having to juggle some of my main videos in between, so y'all didn't think I just died suddenly, and also just, you know, real life stuff. Once again, I would like to thank all of my sources in the video, except for you, Phil, go fuck yourself, all of which will of course be in the description below. I would also like to thank Kunai for helping me with the Street Fighter section because she knows a lot more about fighting games than I do, so I appreciate her willing to help me retouch on that. I'd also like to thank another friend of mine, Try, for proofreading the script, and another friend, Douglet, for mixing together the music for the Phil Get About It skit. And also apologies for obliterating your eardrums, that's my bad. And finally, I would like to thank you, the viewers, for watching this video. Even though I'm pretty sure it's much longer than the first one. But hey, that's not my fault, dude. Because Phil is just an infinite supply of problems to talk about. Hell, I still feel like I missed some stuff and will probably miss some things that happened while working on this video or processing it. But with that said, I don't think I'm going to be doing another one of these problem with videos on him. I don't really want this to be too much of a reoccurring thing for my channel, mostly due to the time it takes for me to spit these kinds of videos out. But once again, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.
Yeah. 25 24/7, 365. Waited too long, now it's my shine. I'm stunning when I'm running in the limelight. You steady running your mouth, cause I rhyme tight. 24/7, 365. Waited too long,